Were you, or were you not, on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick face.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Gonorrhea. No. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not. Look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay. I
got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with an episode Grunt Speak that actually is live from the Lair. And today we're going to be talking about the craziness that is taking place in the Middle East right now. And for you civvies out there, we're going to talk a lot of nomenclature. We're going to cover these naval strike groups and the different ships and what they're supposed to do. And it is what it is. Now, Iran.
So far away.
Yes. But they didn't run far enough. And they have been pulling the wool over the world's eyes for 47 goddamn years. They've been playing this nuclear bullshit for at least 25 of these 47 years. Iran has funded countless proxy militias to do their dirty work, and then they deny everything, despite the fact, according to some of my sources, they have traced the money. So they're full of shit. In regards to that one enrichment plant, which was in a mountain, or the closest thing to a mountain that they have in that godforsaken part of the world, was hit with 12, again, this many fingers, 12 30,000-pound bunker busting bombs. So if that was pure explosives, I believe they would let's say there was 10,000 pounds of explosives per bomb. That is 120,000 pounds of boom putty. And I would argue is very close to the destructive capability of a tactical nuclear device, minus the radiation and fallout. I'm a little miffed because each one of those is incredibly expensive. And again, we have come to the rescue for Oz Real. And I've said this many times on the show. I have nothing against the Jewish faith or the Jews as a people. And as long as they're well behaved, I really don't have anything against Islam. I'm just sick and tired of fucking having to flip the bill for it. All right? This is stupid. You want to have a luxury of living in the so-called promised land, which everyone has fought over since we started writing shit down. And we're flipping the bill for this luxury. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of sick of it. Now, do I think Iran and other countries like that should have the ability to enrich uranium? Hell to the no. No, not in any way, shape, or form. And to be honest, military action against Iran should have been done somewhere between 2005 and 2010. But the administration back then didn't have any balls and threw money at the problem, hoping that someday it would go away or they could pass the buck down the line. Now, am I grateful? Am I glad Trump did what he did? Yeah. Yes, I am. Does it aggravate me because of the massive expense we incurred doing it? Yes. Yes, it does. But in the long run, I myself would love it if I go to my grave never seeing a mushroom cloud again used in anger. I've watched quite a few in the movies, on TV, YouTube, and what have you. And that does not look like a party that I wish to attend. And I don't care how tasty the cake is. Not for the popster. All right, we got the Battle Dwarf on station. And let us begin.
I'm just sitting here trying to be quiet while you dig a hole.
Okay, now, one of the good things about this show is the Battle Dwarf and the popster don't always see eye to eye.
No.
And we're still really good friends.
Yes. But that's because we both worked in the same world. He was at the pointy end of the stick, and I was in the thinky room under the mountain. There's a lot more to this whole Iran-Israel thing than we'll be able to cover on this show, and we could probably do several days worth of material on the entire subject. But suffice to say, those parts of the world have been at each other's throats for 6,000 years of recorded human history, and who knows how much longer. 6,000 years. Allow me to finish. Okay. The Jews came on the scene. Their calendar, by the way, I believe it's the Jewish year 5,735, which is roughly, waiting for a response from the popster on this one.
That is a huge number.
5,735 years, which is roughly
4,000 years.
Okay. Just
In
checking.
feminist math.
You're the math guy here. You're the math guy. I shouldn't have to be doing this.
I'm just giving you cognitive dissonance.
Anyway,
I
that's
don't
fine.
wish to acknowledge your facts. but
Cognitive
they are
dissonance. Yeah. It's not cognitive dissonance here. It is cognitive dissidence. He's deliberately being dissident with me. At any rate, as I was saying, that part of the world has been trying to kill each other for 6,000 years of recorded human history that we're aware of. I don't care which groups it is. Everybody there seems to have this thing. For the last 6,000 years, they've tried to. Okay. And there's all these people out there. Oh, which side are you on? Which side are you on? I'll tell you which side I'm on. America's side. I'm tired of sending American treasure, American materials, and American sons to their wars. Because, as previously stated, they've been at war for roughly 4,000 to 6,000 years. And they're not going to stop. We've only been around for 250 years. Why are we fighting these people's wars for them? Screw you. Fight your own war. You want to pick a war? Great. Finish it. I don't care. Just don't bring that shit over here. Then you get the might of the American military when you come over and start kicking our shit around. But in fairness, as we've learned over the last couple of years, our own State Department through USAID and CIA and a bunch of other shit have been stirring stuff up over there for the last 100 years.
Well, I'm going to be
and
honest.
The British for the last 150.
After World War II,
Mm-hmm.
we got stupid with the world. We literally threw money and used the SIA to change regimes, cause all kinds of problems. And nobody did shit about it. And the only president that said he was going to do something about it got canoed in his thinking meat.
Marjorie Greene today in Congress read a page from the redacted CIA reports from the haircut incident.
Yes.
Where Kennedy was, in fact, given a very close trim because he wanted to shut down certain operations from a certain country that had just been created in 1948 and wanted to declare an organization called AIPAC a foreign agent, which it is. She read it right out of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. An American president was assassinated by, and the CIA was involved, by our own people and by a foreign asset. And we know that it happened and we have the evidence and nobody's done anything.
Yes.
This just further supports my theory that the United States federal government has long been dead and we are being basically ruled by a foreign enemy state in the form of Washington, D.C. I don't think they're American at all.
Yes, I'll have to concur with you.
They do not behave like Americans.
And that's the Democrats and Republicans alike.
Yes. Oh, it's the whole it's the whole city.
Now, I would say that there's a few MAGA guys that are for America, but we need a hell of a lot more there.
Look, if you worship a guy in a suit, you're a moron.
Yes.
I will not budge from that.
That's an Oronimo.
There's all over Twitter. Oh, why don't you love Trump? Oh, why don't you love Trump? It's like, because he's a guy in a suit that we hired to do a job.
That's right.
You want me to love you? Do your job.
Yep.
Do your job, and I might show you some respect.
I can concur with that. That is actually a good way to look at this.
One of the things that I try to teach people is I pledge allegiance to the flag not some slob in a suit. The
Okay.
pledge is to the flag for a reason. Let's get on with the show, shall we?
Yes, let's do this.
I did. We need a rabbit hole clip.
Actually, I found one.
Did you?
And we have to put it into the rotation.
Okay, we got to put it into the rotation. So we're going to start out with a little humor here because Rachel Maddow found out about all of this stuff. And
all right. Now, first of all, Rachel Maddow could be at the funeral of her parents, crying her eyes out, and I will not believe her. She's such a lying cunt.
I would completely 110% concur with that statement. Let's hear what she's going to cry about today.
Yeah, here we go.
It was a war of choice, both for Israel and the United States. It's a preventive military strike, not preemptive. This was a gathering threat from Iran, not an imminent threat. The most interesting thing I've seen in this, Rachel, was in the Wall Street, rather the Economist, where they published the dossier. And what was the case is Iran had gotten further along faster than anybody thought. Again, not imminent, but a gathering threat that had gone quite far. I don't know anybody on God's green earth who seriously thinks what Iran was doing was to generate electricity. Clearly, this was to put into place the prerequisites of a nuclear weapons program. Whether they've actually made the decision to do that or not, that's a matter of some conjecture. They've accumulated an awful lot of highly enriched uranium. What we don't know is how much they may have weaponized.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there, as a matter of fact, because this is a pissy point with me. Yeah, it's just a fucking. How did you ever seen a picture of her when she was young?
She was actually fairly hot.
She was a 6.5 to an 8.
That's why I said fairly.
She was, she was a pretty young woman.
The wall is undefeated.
Well, this is a wall. I think like her lesbian girlfriend picked her up by the ankles and swung her at the wall. I think that's what we got there. At any rate, this guy is talking about Iran weaponizing to make nuclear weapons. There's a problem with this. Over the last 30 years, Netanyahu has been making the same speech about Iran's nuclear weapons. And it's like the scene in Monty Python where King Arthur and his men are charging the walls of the castle with the French guys. And it cuts to the French guys. And then it cuts back to King Arthur. And he's at the same position charging. And it cuts back to the French guys. And back to King Arthur. And they're at the same position charging. They never move forward, is the point.
Yeah.
And the French are confused by this. That's what's been going on with this claim that Iran has nukes for 30 years. I meant to pull the videos of it, but I didn't.
Well, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying. Do I think Iran actually has a functional warhead? No. They would have used it by now.
Now, here's the thing. North Korea has had functional nuclear warheads. They have... allow me to caveat this here. There are conjecture and rumor that a state in Northeast Asia, which is a dictatorial nation, may or may not have 3 functional warheads. I had to caveat that.
Okay.
Anyway, what they can't do is the delivery systems. That's when you hear about North Korea launching missiles all the time and they fall into the sea on the other side of Japan.
Yes.
The delivery systems for those types of ordnance are hard to make. It requires a tremendous amount of resources, a tremendous amount of knowledge, and the ability to produce them at all, the brain power.
Well, here's another thing.
I don't think Iran has that.
No, stand by. You have to have the brain power and the resources to build these delivery vehicles, and then you have to maintain them. Which is incredibly expensive.
Came out recently that a lot of ours are not maintained.
Correct.
Yep. So here's this existential threat that Netanyahu keeps claiming. Now, I'm going to keep saying Netanyahu because he's the chief instigator in all of this shit. Whether or not you like any particular country, that's entirely up to you, but it is my personal belief that the general population of any given country bears no real animosity toward any other country. Usually that's all manufactured by leadership.
Yep.
So with the weapons thing, it's just a ploy to get us involved in something that we shouldn't need to be involved in. But of course, we are. And actually, I forgot to bring this up. I'm going to do this real quick. The area that is being contested is between what is known as the Levant on the far eastern coast of the Mediterranean. You know that as Israel and a couple of other little states like Lebanon. Lebanon used to be called the Paris of the Middle East at one point. It was a very nice place. It is
Before
not a
the
nice
Civil
place
War,
anymore.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
at one point it was incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. So was Iran.
Okay. Most people, yes, that is correct. Most people can't point to Iran on a freaking map. They can't. Point blank. Now, I'm going to share this tab instead, bring this up here, and bring us up a map. Here is our contested area. Now, you'll see Syria toward the middle there. Just below that is the Kingdom of Jordan, which has been around for infinity years. And then Israel is this sliver over here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Mediterranean. This area of the world has been contested for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Since the beginning.
That's another show entirely. Yes, since the beginning, essentially. And you can see that most of this down here is desert. But over this way, if you go northeast, here's Tehran. And you can see how fertile this valley is on the Caspian Sea here. Along the Caspian Sea, you can see all the green. Iran is not a shitty desert country. They only show shitty desert country pictures of Iran because that's the propaganda they want you to believe. A lot of it's actually really nice, geographically speaking. But let's put a distance between these. We're going to go measure distance here, and then we'll go from Tehran to there. Okay, that's 1,000 miles, and it crosses Jordan and Iraq, which is not a small place either. Iraq's pretty freaking big. It's the ancient kingdom of Samaria, for those of you who are unfamiliar.
And
so there's the contested. What's that?
It sucked when I was there.
I can believe it. I heard that the temperatures and everything are just
bad.
Please just shoot me now. So let's go to the area, the Strait of Hormuz, which is down here. Get rid of that. Don't need you. No thanks. I don't want to do any of that there.
Really good
okay, that's the Straits of Hormuz.
Now, hang on. That is a really good choke
Watch
point.
this. Yeah. And Iran controls this whole coast here. Bandar Abbas to Bandar Lege, Bandar Atab over there. And this is the island of Hormuz there. This is the country of Dubai, which is a super rich oil company. Or oil company. It might as well be an oil company.
Yeah, I got you.
Oil country. Okay. They don't want their shipping screwed with. And the Straits of Hormuz is where they do all of their shipping. So you're going to have it contested with them as well. Then you get the United Arab Emirates, because this Persian Gulf here is where our ships are heading. You can see over here, this is the country of Oman, which is also extremely wealthy. The city of Muscat, which is obviously strategically important. It controls that little corner there into the Straits of Hormuz.
All right,
but
hang on.
That turkey neck, look at that fucking turkey neck, dude.
But here's the thing. What is the distance between the farthest point there to Iran when you look at that choke point?
That's Iran.
I know, but what is
this is Iran.
What is the width of that choke point?
What's the width of the choke point?
Yes.
Clear measurement. Don't do that.
Do it.
This choke point distance is measure a distance. Okay, at its narrowest, it appears to be 40 miles. And for a Navy ship, that's nothing.
Yes.
That is nothing.
But here's the thing, and this is just my evilness coming out.
Right.
Iran could literally shut that down and fire on any ship at that choke point from 3 or 4 different locations.
Now, watch this. This is the really scary part. Okay. This is the first dot that I put there, right there. That is roughly where we begin to become vulnerable to Iran. They've got to respect international waters to a degree. They don't always.
They go out 50 miles from the shore.
Yeah.
So technically,
so that gap is 40 miles.
Yeah. So
this is like a safety zone.
That whole choke point is owned by both Iran and that other country.
Now, in order to get into a reasonable position in the Persian Gulf, we have bases in Bahrain, we have bases in Qatar, we have bases in the Emirates. I don't know if we have any bases in Oman. We definitely have a base in Kuwait. But just to get to the Persian Gulf, our ships have to cover 833 miles, essentially.
The gauntlet.
That is 833 miles of exposure, including 140-mile wide choke point. And most people are like, 40 miles, that's sort of large. Not when you're dealing with Navy vessels.
And listen, and when you're dealing with counter ship missiles that fly between
Mach 6.
Wow, 1.2 Mach and Mach 6 if they're using hypersonic.
Yeah, the hypersonics will lose Mach 6.
You have 0 time to react. 0 time at that speed.
A Tomcat will do 40 miles in something like, I think it's like 35 seconds or something like that.
Yeah. And when you're doing Mach 4, you'll do that in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to react to that.
That 40-mile gap might as well be walking through the door of a fucking closet. For all real purposes.
Well, you and I know in mount combat, you stand in the door, you're dead.
Yeah, that's the worst place in the world to be.
Fatal funnel.
Yeah.
It's the doorway.
Yep. Always get the hell out of that doorway.
And it's the same thing right here. That's a fatal funnel. If we're sending ships into the Persian Gulf right now, we are fucking up by the numbers.
Now, the big carriers can do, I believe, up to 40 knots, which is roughly 38 miles an hour at sea underway. But when they're going through this, they're going to be doing 20 knots. They're going to be doing like
half.
They're going to be doing like 18 miles an hour.
Yep. That is not that fast, man.
I can outrun an aircraft carrier in this stretch on my bike if you put me on a flat road. Okay, that's for perspective. I can go faster than an aircraft carrier on my mountain bike.
Yep.
Okay, that's the kind of perspective we're talking about here. So to say that 40 miles is wide, and then they got to go 832 miles through that gauntlet. Now let's see what they're pushing. This is like having a baby. You're pushing this huge object through this insanely small passageway.
Well, when you're talking about, hang on a minute, I got a dumbass truck up front.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're talking about a naval strike force or aircraft carrier assault force,
that's what we're going to be talking about right now.
Here's the thing, though, is they put the aircraft carrier in the middle, and then you have your inner and outer cordon rings.
Yes.
To protect that aircraft carrier.
And then you've got the tenders. The aircraft carrier doesn't carry all of its supplies. It has tenders. There'll be 3-4 of those.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're going through a strait that's 40 miles wide, you're going to have to stretch your ships out for safety's sake, thus making the aircraft carrier, which is the quarterback, incredibly vulnerable to being sacked.
There is a historical reference, which I love, that applies to this, and it was when Varus, the Roman general, was forced to push his 3 Roman legions into a narrow corridor of prairie and swamp to pass through a hilly area on one side and a forest on the other that looked a lot like that map there, at which point the German tribes under Arminius slaughtered all of them.
Was that 3 legions?
That's the Teutoburg Forest.
Yeah.
Yep. That was 9 AD. But the basic pattern is the same.
Same.
The basic pattern is the same thing. That kind of a pathway is what you're
And
looking
listen, this is not rocket science. Anyone with
at. Classic ambush.
Well, yeah, it's a classic ambush. It's a classic to anyone with a third grade education in tactics and war can look at that map and go, that is where if I'm going to war and they're bringing in a fleet, that is where I'm going to ambush the shit out of them.
Right. Or if you are the guys on the ship, as you like to put it, no.
Yeah. I'm like, what? No,
No.
I don't think so. No, that's stupid.
No, we're not doing that.
But the thing with an aircraft carrier, they could project power from the starting point. They don't have to go into the
yes.
Gulf.
Now, and like I said, we have bases there. So technically, if they could get permission to move through those airspaces, where are we again? That's small there for me. I'm looking at that in the Emirates and Oman and Qatar and Bahrain. We know Kuwait's. We've got bases in Kuwait. We've had bases there since 1991. But if they can control this airspace over Oman, the Emirates, Qatar, and Bahrain, if they can control those airspaces, the Iranians won't be able to do a whole lot. Their fighters are pretty good, but I don't think they can match us ship for ship.
You're talking about their fighter jets?
They've got bunkers, dude. They're not dumb.
No,
we need to dispel a myth real quick here. We are not dealing with the Bedouin tribes here. The Persians, we're talking Xerxes, we're talking Darius, we're talking the people who invented chess. Okay, these are not primitive tent-dwelling sand people. The Iranians are an advanced culture, and to say otherwise is silly. They've just been taken over by a bunch of Marxist imams at the moment. They're having a shitty time, but these are not dumb people by any stretch of the imagination. They're probably the smartest people. They're the Japanese of the Middle East, like the Japanese and the Chinese, you know that the Japanese are top tier, intelligence wise and accomplishments wise. The Iranians are the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, these are not stupid people. They invented chess.
This is the point I was getting at.
Okay.
Iran has spent a lot of their treasure on trying to get this nuclear warhead and the infrastructure needed to build these, to include the rockets. And in my opinion, just from what I'm seeing in regards to what's going on between Israel and Iran, is they have literally neglected key elements in that they would need for their military in that part of the world, like fighter jets. Now, granted, they do have some.
That's expensive. You have to be an economically top tier country to really be able to afford a real Air Force.
I got you, but they would have been able to afford it if they didn't waste a lion's share of their money on this infrastructure to enrich uranium.
Okay, I only said they're not stupid. I didn't say they always make good decisions.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not saying they were stupid. I'm just saying that was unwise.
Yes, it was. It was a bad decision. So I want to go back to the map again real quick, if I might, because you're bringing up the Air Force thing brings up a point, and how Israel manages to clear this airspace is beyond me, but they struck directly into Iran with their aircraft.
Correct.
We can do that because we've got advanced aircraft, and we'll stomp a hole in your ass if you try to shoot at us. But from Israel, again, to Iran, we're talking or to Tehran, you're talking 1,000 miles. They've got to cover either Jordanian or Syrian airspace, definitely Iraqi airspace. You could make an argument, I guess, that they could fly through Saudi airspace because that's all desert down there. But my guess is the Saudis aren't going to be very keen on that. But then they'd still have to go through Iraq or Kuwait or go directly over the Persian Gulf. So air battles aren't really feasible for these two countries.
Well, I can guarantee you that Jordan and Iraq have been probably paid off to not make a huge stink over the fact that another country, i.e., Israel, which the Arabs don't like, is flying
Yes.
through their airspace unopposed.
Yeah. Either that or we threaten to withhold something. Because
Yes.
we give a lot of aid to that entire region.
Which I would love to see stopped.
That needs to stop. Why are we doing that? That's
Yes.
ridiculous. We shouldn't be funding other people's wars, let alone sending our troops to it.
Not a fan.
Meanwhile, let's get back to that ambush scenario with that really bad map that we had and talk about what it is we're trying to shove through that tiny little bottleneck.
There it is.
So, a carrier strike group, the Navy loves weird acronyms. Okay. When I worked with a task force and we were off of the USS Blue Ridge, which is based out of Hawaii and I think San Diego, that's the Pac Fleet command vessel. It was like Surf Pac Fleet Com something. Like this one here is Comcar Strike Crew 9. They make these weird acronyms for like no reason. It might have something to do with the fact that they use semaphores.
Uh-huh.
I bet it was related to that.
We talked
At any
about
rate.
the flag shit.
Yeah, the flag shit.
Yeah.
Where they wave the flags around.
That's a horrible MOS because I'm going to give you an automatic homo suspicion point for.
Also, what are you going to do when you get out?
Yeah.
Join a marching band? Join a drum corps?
Get the hell out of here.
That's it. That's about your career opportunities. You're joining the flag section of a drum corps. Carrier Strike Group 9's mission is to plan and conduct operations and exercises in surface, subsurface, air, and strike warfare as directed by numbered fleet commanders. We actively participate in the development of tactical doctrine and assist type commanders in preparation and execution of employment and training schedules. They are based out of Naval Station North Island, California. This is part of Pac Fleet. This fleet is on its way to the Straits of Hormuz. They pulled it out of Asia. Now, we have a treaty with South Korea that a lot of people are unaware of, that we will keep a carrier within strike range at all times.
Okay.
For the Korean Peninsula. I think we pulled our group out. I don't think there's a carrier group in there right now.
You're probably right.
I think it's headed for Iran.
It's
So
a big mistake, in my opinion.
Well, I'm trying to watch the other channels to see if I can find anything on the Koreans getting pissed off about that. But in fairness, we have been there for 70 years, guys. Maybe give it a rest.
Yeah.
During the Cold War, the main role of the CVBG in the case of conflict with the Soviet Union would have been to protect the Atlantic supply routes between the United States and Europe. Well, the role of the Soviet Navy would have been to interrupt those sea lanes. This is classic naval warfare. Because the Soviet Union had no large carriers of its own, the situation of dueling aircraft carriers would have been unlikely. However, a primary mission of the Soviet Navy's attack submarines was to shadow every CVBG and in the outbreak of hostilities, sink those carriers. That is a freaking sphincter puckering MOS. We had those Navy SIGINT guys in our classes, and boomer life. Everybody makes boomer jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, in the Navy, a boomer class sub is the big subs, and they would play cat and mouse with the Russian subs, like all the fucking time. I don't know if that still goes on to this day, but back when we were in, that was like a serious pucker factor. There was never a hot war, but these subs were always up each other's asses at really close distances and at like anywhere between 120 and 400 feet.
Yep.
Underwater, for those of you who don't know what I mean there.
Well, correct. If there's anyone out there that knows this, but I believe the cruising depth is 120 feet.
I think that sounds right. I never dealt with any sub stuff.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
I'm on the Blue Ridge. So anyway, back to Fleet 9. They are moving into the Straits of Hormuz. Modern U.S. Navy carrier operations carriers, strike groups have replaced the traditional term of carrier battle group or Karlbat group. The Navy maintains 11 carrier strike groups, 10 of which are based in the United States, and one is forward deployed to Japan. That's at Yokosuka. I know those guys.
Yeah.
So we don't have 11 functional carrier groups right now. We do not. I think we've got 7 that are what we called combat effective.
Well, hang on. Number one, we have degraded our ability to build and maintain
Yes.
aircraft carriers.
Yes.
And our Navy.
I know a guy who does that specifically.
Number two, they don't have the people to put on these ships because of recruiting or budget cuts and what have you.
DEI killed a bunch of that.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's where we are. And listen, man, if the flag goes up and shit fucking really starts flying, I don't know how they're going to get the rest of those ships manned and out to sea in a reasonable amount of time.
The only saving grace here is none of the nations who are most aligned against the United States possesses an army that is better than ours, despite our degraded state right now.
Okay.
Even in our degraded state, there still aren't any armies out there who could really stand against us that are already aligned against us.
Fair enough.
China's got numbers. They've got numbers out the ass. But we saw how they operate in the Korean War. Like a third of their guys were armed. Now, you can argue that they've got all those guys armed today, but they've never fought a full action. They haven't fought a full action since the Korean War.
Here's the other thing about China. Yes, they have numbers.
Yep.
But they can't project their strength.
No.
So if they're not good at projecting strength, that's going to be a problem.
Even in our degraded state, one of the things we really do well is logistics. The 82nd Airborne can drop an entire brigade on your head anywhere in the world in, I believe, it's 72 hours.
72 hours, correct.
Yep.
The Ranger Battalion will be on the ground in 36 or less.
Yes. Yeah, and you're really fucked if they get a hair up their ass.
Well, here's the thing about Airborne Rangers, okay?
Yeah.
Since I used to be one.
No.
If
I heard
you are a foreign country and you wake up one day and there's an entire battalion of Airborne Rangers somewhere within your country, you have to be willing to zero out a division to destroy them.
Yes.
That is, I mean, that is how well equipped, how
for
well
perspective, a division is close to 5,000.
Yes. A battalion is 150 to 220 guys. No.
Ranger Battalion?
No, a Ranger Battalion is way more than that.
A standard United States infantry company in my day was 460 plus command.
For just a company?
No, I'm not sorry, not a company, battalion.
Yeah.
A standard infantry battalion was 460 plus command.
I think one of the Ranger battalions when I was there was operating strength is between 500 and 650 people. There's probably more now that you have support battalions and all this other shit attached.
Special teams. They moved to the special team brigade model. I hate that fucking model.
I don't like it either, but
it doesn't make sense.
Show.
Yeah, it's a totally different show. Anyway, let's get back to ships and what they do. We're going to share that tab.
Let me give the briefing.
Oh, you want to give the Los briefing?
All right, this is what's going on. We got our channel hacked, and before that, we were demonetized through the nose. So we like putting numbers on the board. We're up to 562 lives saved from suicide using comedy, logic, and reason. Please feel free to send in super chats to keep this thing rolling forward. It was a one hell of a 2-week battle to get our channel back from the YouTube.
God, that was ugly.
And I am still trying to find out the IP address of the people who uploaded videos to my channel, because I know people and things can happen once I have that information.
They're not in the United States. I'm going to tell you that.
I don't care where they are. I know
Okay.
people who can make
Okay.
shit happen.
I know. I understand. I usually don't mention things like that on the air, but there you go.
I'm just saying.
What are you gonna do? There it is.
I
Big as
feel a
life.
particular way up. Listen, when you get me to this point where I feel a particular way.
Oh no, there are certain buttons. If you press certain buttons, certain things are going to happen. That's just how it is. So, what ships are usually included in a carrier group? Now, this is where we get into that bottleneck map that we were talking about. That we
Correct.
showed you. That's 835 miles of fuck my life. Okay.
Yeah.
With a 40-mile narrow passage of fuck me in the goat ass.
Well, all right. Stand by. That entire ocean or sea is a shooting gallery for you.
The Persian Gulf.
The whole Persian Gulf. You should not go in there. You don't need to when you have land bases literally right across that little small sea.
And our ability to project. We've got major bases in Europe, including a couple in Italy, that can get shit into the Levant on that eastern coast of the Mediterranean there, and then from there to Kuwait. I don't know why they're risking this bottleneck.
Yeah,
Strategically, to me, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. If it's just projection of force, you don't need to do that. It's the year's 2025. This is not world where you sit the Missouri and the Arizona off the coast, and everybody shits their pants.
Well, to be fair, a battleship that could throw shells between 35 and 55 miles, and each one weighs as much as a VW.
There's a famous story from Korea where a North Korean group on an island during the Korean War lobbed some mortars at the Missouri, I think it was. And the Missouri, one of the mortars actually struck the ship. It didn't do any damage, but it struck the ship. The commander ordered the Missouri to remove the top of that hill, which it promptly did. The Missouri never, ever took fire ever again during the rest of the Korean War. And when I say remove the top of the hill, we've got the BDA photos. Because they flew planes out of there. The Missouri had tenders and there were aircraft in the air for that. And they went down and photographed what the Missouri did afterward. And it literally, the top of the hill was just
gone.
Not fucking there. Anyway, what do we got? This information comes from USNY News Fleet. That's U.S. Navy information. News Fleet and Marine Tracker dated February 2024. Let's say the aircraft carrier group that includes the Theodore Roosevelt CVN-71 and big deck amphibious warship U.S. America. That I think the Blue Ridge is one of those too. The Blue Ridge was cool. It was like a big boxy small aircraft carrier.
Well, hang on a minute. What was the other ship called?
It's an amphibious warship. That's the America.
That's where you keep all your Marines.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's the grazing paddock for the Marines.
Yeah. And now the thing is with those amphibious ships, it's right there in the title of the damn thing. These things are like, I think 1/6 the size of a carrier. And if you know how big of a carrier is, we're still talking about a really big fucking ship.
Yeah.
These things will beach, and then they puke up 3 battalions of Marines onto your beach. and now you're fucked because that's just a buzzsaw. Anyway, the carrier is using older C-2A Greyhounds as temporary carrier onboard delivery vehicles, while the CMV-22B fleet is grounded following the November crash. They use those to get back and forth between the ships. Let's see here. Brutal money secrets varies, but obviously the entire carrier group. Typically, the following units are assigned to be in a carrier strike group: 1 or 2 guided missile cruisers, a destroyer squadron and all of its ships, typically around 5 to 6 guided missile destroyers. Those will have tenders as well. They don't carry all of their ammo on board. They're on the tenders, which follow these things around, smaller ships. one or two submarines and an oiler or two. I know some of the bigger carrier groups will take 2 oilers with them.
Yeah,
I don't know if we have. Yeah, I don't know if they have 2 oilers anymore, or fast combat support ships. So that's the general group there. You're talking about the guided missile cruisers will have tenders. So there's 2 plus 2 for each cruiser. That's 6 destroyer squadron, which I think is 3 vessels.
No. Destroyers in a carrier group are between 4 and 6 destroyers.
Is it 4 and 6 destroyers?
Somewhere between 4 and 6, depending on what they have on hand.
So remember, we're talking about an aircraft carrier, which you land aircraft on, obviously, which is enormous. And now you've got 24 ships plus the subs in that tiny little space. The maneuver capability
with missiles.
No, you're not. You're not. But here's where it matters. If those subs are within the group and moving as a unit with the carrier group, your maneuverability goes down.
A lot.
Because what's the draft on a carrier?
I have no idea. I
have no idea either. I mean, what? Let's look that up. That's a fun one. What is the draft on a U.S. aircraft carrier? Draft, for those of you who don't know, is how far under the water a ship sticks. A Nimitz class carrier has a draft of basically 40 feet.
Okay, I was going to say 35 feet.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking depth.
You have to take into account the actual physical depth of the ship is 37. But if you've ever been anywhere near a ship underway, it has like a thing around it of water that you don't want to be a part of, because if you get too close to that, you get sucked back toward the spinny things.
And ground up to
and
shark.
You get turned into chum.
That's right. Human chum with heads.
Yes. So I would say that the real draft, 37 feet physical vessel, I would give it 55 feet.
Okay.
I would give it a 55-foot draft because of the cavitation.
No, stand by. On an aircraft carrier, you're going to have all of the fucking ships, all of the repair parts, an ass load of ammo and fuel. Then you have little...
That's on their tenders. They don't have that on the ships.
No, they have a lot of fuel on the ship.
They do.
And then you have all the little meatsicles walking around, which are incredibly expendable on aircraft carriers.
The carrier guys that they call, I think it's the grapes, the guys wearing purple.
Yeah.
I believe that is actually the most dangerous job in the entire military, because they're on the deck with those aircraft coming and going, and the arrestor cables. If a cable, I've heard stories of this. I've never seen it myself, but I've heard Navy guys talking about if you're too close to one of those cables, you just get cut in half.
That's right.
I mean, there's no, you might get nicked. No, you're getting cut in half.
Yeah. And every year they have anywhere from 6 to 12 people that just fall off and they're never heard or seen from again. They're just assumed dead.
That's a long drop.
Yeah. So fuck
the
long
Navy. Drop. I
don't want anything to do with that. I'm good.
I joined the Army to stay on dry land, and in their wisdom, my first assignment was supporting you assholes on the USS Blue Ridge. There was 12 of us, and we're like, why are we on a ship? Why are we? Who made these orders?
So when I was going to enlist in the Army, I originally, just to go talk to the Marines, I had to sit down with those guys. They showed me the HUA tapes, ran me through the whole USMC pride shit. And then I'm like, so if I become 0311, what's going to happen in my first 2 years? I'm like, well, you're going to basic AIT on Paris Island, and then you're going to go for your first float. Usually everyone has, a float. I'm like, what is this float? It's where they keep you on a ship just in case they need you, and you're on there from anywhere from 4 to 12 months. I'm like, yeah, no. Nah,
Yeah.
I just like, no, thank you.
Basically penned up angry cattle.
Yes, no, thank you.
By the way, do you know why the Navy actually keeps Marines on their ships?
Not really.
Sheep are too obvious.
Ah. All right.
Somewhere out there, as a Marine, go, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass, dwarf.
Listen, man, it's all inter-service rivalry. We don't really
absolutely,
mean it.
absolutely. Just
Yeah.
good old fashioned ribbon. We used to go through that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to bring this one up a little closer too. U.S. forces arrived to support deterrence efforts at Strait of Hormuz. This is article from 2023. We've done this before, but let's take a look at what it entails. Sailors and Marines with Navy's Bataan Amphibious Ready Group and the 26th Marine Expeditionary Unit, that float we were just talking about, arrived in the Middle East yesterday as part of a pre-announced deployment to support deterrence efforts in the Strait of Hormuz and elsewhere. As we have been for a very long time, we're coordinating with our partners in the region when it comes to U.S. military presence because, again, it's not just the U.S. military that's out there patrolling commercial shipping lanes. We're working as part of a broader coalition on that effort. Now, there you can see a carrier with all of its planes on deck. That's a display. He's either coming or going from port right there. They
Correct.
do not keep all of the ships out like that. Now, when I say that their tenders have most of their stuff, that's because there's a shitload of space below that deck where they stash all of those aircraft. And the hangars are huge. You can literally play a regulation basketball game on one of the damn hangars, on the elevators for the ships.
They're really big, man.
The vessel in the background, I think that's a tender.
But I don't know. I can't tell.
I think that's a tender. He's got the cab there. There's no real gun deck.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
And he doesn't have a very good radar up there that I can see. At any rate, here's the important part about that article. Did you catch the other thing that I said there about what they're doing and what they're protecting?
Well, they're protecting the aircraft carrier.
Well, that is the aircraft carrier, though. The thing that they're protecting in that little tiny space there. Here, let's share this tab again. We're going to go back to our friendly little map.
Here's another thing.
Remember,
yeah. Say they get in that choke point and shit goes south. How are they going to maneuver and turn around and get the fuck out of there? 40 miles.
Wait, because here comes the fun part. You're not letting me get to the fun part.
Well, this is
See
evil.
all of those.
That is an
Evil Pop's
waiting to get fucked.
Evil Pop is about to get a handful of sand for that anal rape.
Okay.
See Bahrain and Qatar and United Arab Emirates and Dubai all there along that stretch and into that gap. Right? Yeah. That is one of the busiest international shipping lanes in the world. And they're all in that little stretch, which means vessels are passing within 100 meters tops.
That's
all through that.
Listen,
so it isn't just our ships going through there alone, like on an exercise. No.
And you
there
have
are hundreds
over the other
zero,
ship.
None.
Zero control.
You have no control at all over them.
Wow.
And there's hundreds of them. Everything from the huge ocean-going freighters, which are basically big pointy cities that like to tip over at sea, to little small cargo tenders and tugs and all of that shit. So the carrier and all of the other ships and those two submarines that are traveling with it are going to go through that little freaking ocean-going rectum with all of those cargo ships around them
that they can't control.
And they don't know who's on them.
Correct.
Now, what we've learned from the Russia-Ukraine war is that the new fun thing to do is drones. Now, imagine an ocean-going freighter covered in connexes. And all of a sudden, that ocean-going freighter, which is cruising alongside the carrier group, all of the tops of those connexes go boop, and 1,000 drones come out.
Yeah, this fuck all you could do. You have no reaction time.
At that range, the Sea Whiz might get half.
Yeah.
On a good day, the Sea Whiz might get half of those.
Now, listen, that Sea Whiz is no joke, but
No, it's no joke at all. But you're talking at 1,000 drones at a range of 300 yards.
yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare. I am so glad I am not part of this little festivity. This is one big fuckery, absolutely just
And how
waiting
many
to happen.
Please tell me they're not moving multiple carrier groups into that Persian Sea.
Well, that's funny you should ask, because the USS Gerald Ford set to deploy amid Israel-Iran conflict. That's a carrier group.
Hang on. They could
That's a
easily park
second
that.
carrier group.
The thing is they could park that carrier group right off the coast of Israel, and they could still conduct operations into Iran if they have to.
Let's see. You'd have to get the flight path clearances. Let's go back to the map real quick.
We're talking about a shooting war. Once a shooting war goes on, fuck off.
So let's say now you can see here with Israel, see the light blue there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can get a carrier, a physical carrier that close. The other vessels, I think so. Does Israel have deep water ports?
Yes,
I don't know. Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's assume a distance of 5 miles offshore.
5 miles? Okay. That's actually
5 miles offshore. That's really close for a carrier group. But when you're doing tender operations between, that is not that bad. But you've got to, if you fly through Jordan and Iraq, I don't know if Jordan would let us go through there. Just to get to Iranian airspace, you're looking at 800 miles.
Okay.
So there's the problem there. And that goes through Jordanian and Iraqi airspace. Now, if they had to do a little disco dance and Jordan said, okay, you can fly across that narrow part there, and then Saudi Arabia said, okay, you can use our airspace, we're going to let you skirt that, and then Kuwait is friendly to us. Now you're still looking at 985 miles.
Yeah, that's
if you have to skirt Iraqi airspace. Yeah. That's best case scenarios, 985 miles. Now, our bombers can do that in their fucking sleep.
Yes.
Our bombers were bombing Iraq from Oklahoma.
Yeah, but there was a lot of refueling in between.
There was a lot of refueling, but they were still doing it from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what's going on with that. Let's go back to the USS Gerald Ford, which is a second carrier group. U.S. Navy's newest and most advanced aircraft carrier will deploy next week to Europe as a growing conflict between Iran and Israel wages on. That means they're going to go do a buildup. They're moving out of Norfolk, which is where all of our shit is. This is 6th Fleet. So 9th Fleet and 6th Fleet are both looking at moving into the area. That's a goat rodeo waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Ford is expected to depart Naval Station Norfolk next week and travel to U.S. 6th Fleet area of operations, a component of U.S. forces. That's AFRICOM. Those guys are pretty squared away. The AFRICOM guys are good. Your civil affairs would have worked with AFRICOM.
Yeah. And then
carriers embarking as part of a regularly scheduled deployment, right? And the move is not in response to rising tensions in the Middle East, right? The
hang on a minute. So, Steve.
Yep.
So we have one carrier, 2 missile cruisers, 4 destroyers at a minimum, with 2 subs and 1 amphibious warfare craft, plus
full of Marines.
Yeah, probably 2 tenders for every surface ship there.
For every combat ship.
Yeah, the subs they can go like 4 to 6 months underwater and be fine.
Yeah.
But goddamn, that's a clusterfuck of targets.
In the middle of one of the biggest shipping lanes in the world.
Wow.
It's a nightmare. It is an absolute fucking nightmare. It's strategically speaking, it is Looney Tunes. Tactically speaking, as I don't know what I would do. I honestly don't know what I would do. I just hope I was on the ship that wasn't hit. Basically, that's about as far as I could get with that.
And here's another thing. Like, if the entire Middle East decides, fuck America, there's absolutely no way we can run any kind of ship into the Persian Gulf.
No.
Because you're literally surrounded, 360 degrees by anti-ship missile countries that can easily fuck you over.
Bahrain, Oman, and Kuwait all have enough money to field, at a minimum, really good anti-aircraft and probably really good anti-ship. Given that those countries rely on shipping so heavily, as in, like, that's the way they move everything they get or give, my guess is they've got some really good naval counter operations too. I've never worked with them. I've never been around them, especially for any of that shit. But that would be my guess, given that that is their entire livelihood.
Dude, that is some rat shit, bat shit, dirty old twat if you get stuck out in the middle of that.
69 assholes tied in a knot.
Dude, that's what happened after you lose a carrier.
Yeah.
Everyone's asshole will fucking be tied in a knot.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people will be losing careers.
Like 3,500 people?
5,000.
5,000 meat suits.
A fully staffed carrier. I'm pretty sure it's 5,000.
Well, check me out. Check the math on that.
On a...
That's a lot of people. That seems a little high. You're not getting the answer?
Oh.
All right. It's worse.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
A fully staffed carrier will carry over 6,000.
God damn, that's a lot of meat suits.
A Nimitz class is capable of carrying over 6,000. That's with air wing personnel. The ship's company alone is 3,800.
Wow.
A Ford class is still 4,500. Get this, the closest foreign carrier is, believe it or not, oh no, the French have them by 10. The Russian full carriers carry 1,960.
That's it?
That tells you how fucking huge our carriers are.
Yeah.
A fully staffed Nimitz class carries over 6,000.
Holy shit.
It's literally the size of a small city in the United States of America.
Yeah. Holy crap.
So that's the size of the ship, plus all of the attendant vessels that we were talking about, trying to maneuver in those waters while the busiest international shipping lane in the world goes about its daily business.
Yeah, I'm not.
That is a bizarre decision.
Yeah, in Iran, they literally can shut that down. There's
yeah. They could shut down if they shut down that bottleneck. It's done. Well, the problem Iran will have is whether or not Oman, Bahrain, and Kuwait decide to retaliate, or Qatar rather.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do? I mean,
money. Those states all trade heavily.
But the thing is,
if Iran
shuts that down, if Iran shuts that straight down, it's equivalent of doing financial suicide to them. They're already been sanctioned for years.
Which is my point. Yeah, it would be financial suicide. So they're kind of over a barrel, but they could float a carrier, a freighter past one of our carrier groups and pull the old drone trick.
You're correct. Yeah, holy crap!
I think that is what
somebody in the chat says. A full size fleet is 35 ships.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Thanks for looking at that. Appreciate
That's like
that.
3 dozen ship. Holy smoking Joe Frazier. God damn, that's fucked up.
I hate to be grim about it, but I really think that is what's next in naval warfare. Float what looks like an ocean-going freighter past somebody, and all of a sudden, all of those connexes open up.
Yep.
Thousands of micro drones. Look, one of the things that the soft guys that we worked with, and I'm sure you learned this as well. Well, I'm certain you learned this as well. You don't have to blow up the whole fucking thing. All you have to do is blow up the tiny little part that makes the whole fucking thing run.
Yes. Or cause a huge fire.
Right.
Yeah.
Like with a bridge, if you blow up exactly the right stanchion in exactly the right place, the weight of the bridge does the rest of the work for you. It's the same with these ships. You hit the right piece and they're fucked. You take out a screw on one of these ships.
You're talking a propeller, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or if the drones could get, like on the carriers, you've got those lower decks where they keep all of the aircraft. Imagine 100 drones flying in there and going pop.
Yeah. You're done.
You're,
We almost
you're
lost
done.
Forrestal over that shit.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe the Forrestal was actually retired shortly after because it was too expensive to refit the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just insane. I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, okay, just imagine you're living in a small city in the ocean and your city's on fire.
Yes.
That is like some next level nightmare bullshit right there. No fucking thank you. I'm good.
Oh, wait.
There's more.
There's more. If you subscribe now. So we've already mentioned the 6th Fleet and the 9th Fleet moving into the area, right?
Uh-huh.
Guess what's in Bahrain? The little country directly next to Qatar and right in the Persian Gulf, about 200 miles from that bottleneck.
Huh?
U.S. 5th Fleet. We'll have
so
a third fleet in there.
Oh my God.
There will be 3 fleets in the area. Iran has reportedly threatened to retaliate and target U.S. military assets spread across at least 19 sites in the Middle East.
Holy shit. 3 fucking fleets?
It's so bad. It's so bad. This is where I got the title for the show tonight. Too many toys in the bathtub. And Dire Straits was pretty obvious.
Yes, yes.
But it's too many toys in the bathtub. You don't have any room to maneuver these things.
Yeah. God,
what are you doing?
I'm at a loss, man. 3 full fleets. So that's like 90, 100 and 105 to 110 fucking U.S. ships in that small little sea. I know a sea, everyone's like, oh, it's a sea, though. No, it's not that big. Not when you have radar that literally goes like between 350 to 500 miles.
Yeah.
That literally is a bathtub.
Yeah. You know what else is literally a bathtub? Not the button pushing monkey.
Who, me?
What, you? It's bad, Jimmy. It's bad. There are 3 fleets in the area.
Wow.
That's not good, is it?
Okay, so I'm going to show Jimmy the map again. I want Jimmy to understand what's going on here because this is. Share this.
Here's another thing. All right, now hang on a minute. Hang on.
Okay, hang on. Keep talking.
Do you think President Trump actually wanted all 3 of these fleets in that ocean, or do you think it was an admiral making these calls?
Pop, you've advised commanders. Commanders don't get to make all of these decisions.
An admiral could make that decision.
Yeah,
but I don't think
admiral could make that decision. So Jimmy, what we're looking at here is to the left of your screen is the Persian Gulf. This little shit ass bottleneck over here, that's the Straits of Hormuz, and the Gulf of Oman is to the right there. They want to push a huge naval dildo through this little tiny rectum into the Persian Gulf.
Are they at least going to spit on it first?
No. See all of this. See all the sand down here in the United
Just
Arab
those
Emirates.
pits.
All of
Yeah.
that. All of that sand is going in as lube. Okay.
Wow.
That is one of the biggest shipping lanes in the world, Jimmy. You got United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain. You've got Oman over here. This
It's
is
like
where
the,
all of that.
It's like the fifth of all of the world's oil production goes through that strait.
Exactly. And it's all goes by ship. And we've got 9, 6, and 5 in there, the fleets.
Yay.
Yeah, that is a tactically. All right, now I'm not even a
You get that
Navy
right through
guy.
the- No,
I'm
but it's you don't even need to be that. We've planned missions.
Yes.
This you put this on the ground, and that's a valley, and we have to move through that.
You're fucked.
Fuck
You're gonna-
you.
You're gonna get Afghanistan.
Yeah, it is. It's Afghanistan and boats.
Yeah, exactly. Because that was one of the big things that the
The bottleneck
Mujahideen did to the
everywhere.
Russians.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they traveled light, and they could run over the tops of the mountains.
Yeah, the ridge lines and mountains. You're correct.
There's a
Wow.
really good 1981 movie called The Beast about a Russian tank
I've
that
seen
gets
it.
separated. It's such a good movie.
Yeah, it was
A
really good.
Russian tank that gets separated from its column in Afghanistan, and the Afghani Mujahideen guys just terrorize this tank throughout the entire movie. Absolutely terrorize the shit out of it. It's a really good movie. It's called The Beast. Anyway, back to our little beast of a problem here. View tab in StreamYard. Bring that.
They're fucking up by the numbers.
The United States has formally entered Israel's war with Iran. That's a bold statement. No war has been declared by the United States yet. But we have dropped ordnance and moved ships. That's bad. Escalating an already volatile regional conflict. That's 6,000 years old. On Sunday, President Trump ordered precision airstrikes on 3 of Iran's most heavily fortified nuclear sites. It is my opinion that Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan were not as important as we think they are. That's very common in intelligence. You know this too, Pop. When sites like that are like, hey, we've got this site here, it's usually a bullshit target or a fucking straight up dry hole. The strikes were the most direct American military action against Tehran in decades since 1979 and follow Israel's June 13th offensive targeting Iranian military infrastructure. While the strikes dealt a major blow, Tehran remains capable of inflicting serious damage. In a stark warning, Iranian officials declared that U.S. involvement risks causing irreparable damage and could trigger an all-out war across the region. Now, again, I'm going to mention that Iran are the Persians. These are not Arabs. They are not Arabs. They are their own people. This is King Xerxes from the 300, but not as gay. King Darius. These are an entirely different group of people and very much their own. Now, here, let's talk a little about the oil doomsday. Maybe more fear than reality, says this guy. U.S. strikes on several Iranian nuclear sites represent a meaningful escalation of the Middle East conflict that could lead Tehran to disrupt vital exports of oil and gas from the region. If Iran starts doing that to Bahrain and Qatar and the other countries, Arab Emirates, they will retaliate. It may not take the form of bombs. It will definitely take the form of banks. History tells us that any disruption will likely be short-lived because of the money. Investors and energy markets may be on high alert since Israel launched a wave of surprise airstrikes across Iran, fearing disruption to oil and gas flows out of the Middle East, particularly through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a choke point between Iran and Oman, through which about 20% of global oil and gas demand flows through that little 40-mile gap.
Wow.
That's fucking huge.
Well, okay. Now let's just war game this.
Do it.
All right. So let's just say they shut down that strait and it goes on for, say, 2 years. They literally would cut their own throat because America would basically just dig more wells. We become more self-sufficient, and America probably uses a large majority of that oil. So that
We
would
do,
tank their
but
market.
there is no way that that will get shut down for 2 years, and I'll tell you why. The aforementioned bank war. The other countries that are involved there, the Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, and even Oman, even though Oman actually sits on the Gulf of Oman and the Arabian Sea, because disrupting their trade would cost them too much money and they would get angry very quickly. They don't retaliate via arms. They retaliate via banks. Iran would probably lose accounts everywhere.
And who are the people who run most of the banks?
Well, rumor has it that many of them like to wear smaller hats than normal.
And what word do you attach to that?
You're baiting me, and I'm not going to take the bait tonight. But we all know where this is going.
Drink!
There, I said it. Bolsheviks. Bolsheviks. Now drink.
So let's go to this here. Like a suicide bombing, Iran threatens making Hormuz Strait a trap for U.S. forces. What have we been talking about all fucking night? Iran ramps up threats to close and heavily mine the Strait of Hormuz as deterrence against U.S. intervention, signaling a willingness to trigger global economic fallout to protect its strategic interests. If Iran closes and mines the Straits of Hormuz, like I said, banking interests will retaliate.
Correct.
That is what is going to happen. There's no way they're going to be able to shut it down for 2 years, maybe a month at the outside, I would say.
But here's the thing, though, is all of these other Arabic nations lugged their money.
Yes.
And at some point, they're going to be
They've become very accustomed to it.
You're very angry with Israel. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you're fucking it up for everybody. Could you just stop?
We're going to need you to dial it down, or we're going to have to kill a few people strategically.
Yeah.
Recent Iranian threats now include not only missile and drone attacks. Oh, there it is. There's the drone attacks in the Middle East, but also the dramatic move to close the Strait of Hormuz, a step that would trigger an immediate global spike in oil and gas prices. These are Iranian military drilling. They captured one of our boats, a small vessel, some time ago.
Yeah.
Back when
Obama, a couple of years back.
Back during Obama.
Yes. An Iranian source quoted Tuesday in Qatar's Al Arabi Al Jadid newspaper warned of additional measures, including strait closure plans ready for implementation if conflict escalates to an all-out war with U.S. involvement. Mohsen Rezai, a member of Iran's Expediency Discernment Council, advised Supreme Leader Al Khamenei, echoed the threat Wednesday. We have severely punished the enemy, but it is not enough. We have not yet used our land and sea capabilities, oil, the Strait of Hormuz, or new missile technologies. The
1979, 1980, did we or did we not sink most of Iran's navy like in, 35 minutes?
We dealt them a significant blow. Yes. Wait, new information has come to light here. The narrow Strait of Hormuz, get this, spanning 21 miles at its tightest point, not 40.
Giggity.
God!
Serves as a critical global transit artery, handling 1/3 of the world's seaborne oil and 1/5 of the liquefied natural gas.
Wow.
That is an epic nightmare of epic proportions.
Yeah, and all you
21 miles. We thought it was 40. We looked at that Google Maps. You lied to us. There must be shallow water there. There must be a shallow draft.
You're right. But the thing is you can drop sea mines.
Holy fuck.
By airplane. You don't even have to put a ship out there to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know what's worse, dropping sea mines or seamen.
Don't get me started.
And every now and
Do
again,
not get me started.
listen, every now and again, we have a ship out there
Mhm.
somewhere in the world that hits a World War II sea mine
Yes,
and gets
that is
smoked.
correct. They are still out there.
They're still out there.
Yep, that is an absolute fact.
And I'm not a fan of mines, so
Mm-mm. They're bad.
think
I
it's
dealt with that.
awful.
I did 2 rotations to the actual DMZ in Korea. While I was there, there were a total of 7 mine-related incidents.
Yep.
And then there was the day that the North Koreans shot up a South Korean patrol, so we agreed to help the South Koreans retaliate. Went in, and somewhere around here in this room, I have, the red triangle landmine sign,
Yes.
right? The one that I have is in Korean on one side and in Korean on the other side. So it may or may not have come from the other side of the DMZ, where several of those may have been removed in the middle of the night. And the next morning we listened to their radio chatter and learned the words for medevac, traumatic leg injury, and critical blood loss.
Nice.
You had to retaliate like that. If they shot at you, you had to do something worse, or they would keep going.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it was a retaliatory thing.
Yeah. Listen.
Anyway, it's around here somewhere. I've got the landmine sign in my room.
You showed it to me once, I believe.
Yeah, I think I did. Yep, that was a hairy night. It was a hairy night, because if you're caught on the other side of that line, you're basically disavowed.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, so I just I don't understand. This is probably a show of force, which is unwise,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have airfields right across, basically right across the street from Iran. You don't need to project this kind of force other than for arrogance and pride. And I've learned horrible lessons in my life in regards to arrogance and pride.
And it's usually some commander's arrogance and pride who doesn't care or understand the lives that he's putting at risk for that action.
Yeah. So we're literally just daring them to punch us in the jaw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that jaw will be a boatload of our brothers or something similar. I'm not okay with that.
No, I am not either.
Yeah. Speaking of show of force, let's look at the forces used in that airstrike. The June 21 attack. Let's do this real quick.
Make it bigger.
What just happened there? Make it bigger. What just happened? It moved on me. There we go. The June 21 attack on 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities was weeks in the planning, started with the decoy flight of B-2 stealth bombers over the Pacific and culminated with the first use of the Pentagon's most powerful conventional bombs. Oh, they used MOABs. The attack, dubbed Operation Midnight Hammer, involved more than 125 warplanes, submarines, and surface warships. Air Force General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, told reporters the morning after the attack. It also put 40,000 U.S. troops in the region on high alert. Why do we have 40,000 troops in the region? This was a highly classified mission. They actually did that correctly.
Well, no, hang on. When they say
40,000, telegraphed it. Yeah.
When they say 40,000, we do have air bases all along across the street.
Oh, no, I know, but I had no idea. I thought we were talking like maybe 20,000.
Oh,
For perspective, right now, there's 38,000 in Korea. And that scaled down from when I was there.
They used to keep
it was close to 60,000. 60. It was 60,000.
Yeah.
In Korea when I was there. I didn't think there were 40,000 there. In this day and age, there's no reason to have that many troops in an area. It's not necessary, not with the lift capabilities that we have.
Okay.
It seems bad.
Excessive.
While they telegraphed the action, we knew this was coming. We didn't know exactly what was coming, so they did do a pretty good OPSEC on this one.
Yeah.
They had good OPSECs on this one.
Well, hang on. It's because the only reason we had the OBSEC is because he didn't tell anyone in the Senate or the House. If we would have told them, they would have squealed on us.
It would have been all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you are 110% correct. It began with B-2 bombers taking off from Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri. Several of the stealth warplanes, the only ones capable of carrying the Pentagon's most powerful bunker buster, headed west over the Pacific. That was, Kane said, a deception effort known only to an extremely small number of planners. The attack force included 7 of the 19 B-2 bombers in the Pentagon's fleet. Oh, thanks. Now that we know you only have 19 B-2 bombers. Each stealth plane has a crew of 2. Did they learn nothing from the Russian attack where the Ukrainians just sent drones to the Russian deep bases and just blew everything up? You don't put freaking information like this out. Fuck is wrong with you? The attack force included 7 of the 19 B-2 bombers in the Pentagon's fleet. Each stealth plane had a crew of 2, and they flew east with minimal communications throughout the 18-hour flight into the target area. They needed to be refueled in midair. That's normal. Around 5 p.m. East Coast time, U.S. Navy sub launched more than 24 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles at Isfahan, one of the 3 Iranian nuclear sites. That had to suck to be under that. God, imagine being under that barrage.
Yeah, no thank you.
Kane referred to several deception tactics, including decoys being deployed as warplanes pierced Iranian airspace. He noted the use of 4th and 5th generation warplanes without specifying the type of warplane. 4th generation aircraft include workhorse attack planes like the 15 and the 18, while 5th generation are generally stealthy, like the Air Force's most sophisticated plane, the F-22. Oh, the 117 is out of the action, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I haven't seen one mentioned in a very long time. These aircraft use high-speed suppression weapons. These were likely missiles used radars. Yeah, they just punched a hole through their airspace.
Well, what they do, it's kind of like a modification from the old tactic they did during Vietnam, where you fly by and then they turn on the radar, then you shoot missiles at the radar and try to dodge the missiles.
They did some of that in Iraq as well. But here's the thing. When they were penetrating like that, this is speculation on my part, but the way that it is normally done when you're taking out radar sites like that is you've got a guy on the ground with a laser designator, which tells me that some tier 1 activity took place on the ground. I think that is true.
Well,
I don't know that.
Mossad is infiltrated all of Iran. They're doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't necessarily have to be our guys. It could have been Israeli, but that kind of punching through ground defense radar at speed requires lased targets.
Yep.
Because you've got to find the target, you've got to laze the target, you've got to hit the target. You can't do that as you're approaching the target at speed.
No,
it has to be already lased.
I have been on teams where we,
lasing shit,
targets. And literally, they give you a time hack. You start lasing the target, and then you may or may not get a call from the aircraft as they on their final approach, and you go lasers up, and you give them the frequency, or they probably already have the frequency you're supposed to be at, so they can see it.
Yep. Target is painted.
Correct.
Roger, and then
drop it. The boom, boom.
Just like that. Anyway, that's a pretty good overview. We are at Super Chat time. Do we wish to push forward, or shall we proceed with Super Chat? This is our first night back on the channel.
Yeah. Jimmy, I got to take a piss break. Let's play the piss break music.
Yep. All righty. Let me see if I can find a good one.
Floating.
Back teeth floating. All righty. Well, here's a pee break for everybody.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
You look like a blueberry.
Well, looks like Pop is not quite back yet. While we're waiting for him to shake it off, we will take a minute to thank all you guys out there in the audience and all the support you've given us. Don't worry about it, man. I was just thanking everybody in the audience for the support, especially over that period of 2 weeks where we thought we had lost everything. We are making efforts to make sure that all that shit gets archived. I am in the process of writing a grant. We're going to be using a lot of the letters of support. We're going to redact information as necessary to do so. But we're hoping that that actually works, because it would be really nice if we could just fucking do this.
And also
frankly.
gratitude letters.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to necessarily save your life. I mean, gratitude, if we were able to
Yeah.
help you out.
Yeah, well, I've got a bunch of those as well. Pop, I need you and anybody else who might have access to that to round those up and put them in a fucking folder, because I'm going to need that stuff for the grant. And I think I'm going to go for $500,000 on the grant, honestly.
We'll talk offline about that.
Yeah, because I think we can do a lot of good. The previous 3 shows that we did, I got some feedback from the guys who were on the show, from Brandon, Don, and Bob. Thanks for coming on, you guys. They said that it was really well received. They got a lot of questions about how we can actually fight back against this stuff. I'm going to coordinate with Brandon, Bob, and Don and see if we can put together some future shows or some recorded shows that we can put up for that material. I am done with my little tiny dwarven soapbox. Jimmy, take it away.
Yep.
Alrighty, there you go. And for those of you guys over watching on the Redonkulous actual side of the stream tonight, I do have both of the the Redonkulous actual and the Grunt Speak Shorts site up, or the fallback channel, if you will. It seems, I don't know why, but the only site that, they're the only channel that was able to bring in any super chats was the Grunt Speak Shorts side, so the Regiment Fallback. So if you guys want to donate via YouTube going forward, go over to Regiment Fallback. That is the site, the channel that you can donate there, or donate other places, because I had everything set up and everything was looking good, and I was like, where the hell is my
what the ass balls?
What the ass balls, Bobby? God damn it. But that's an update there. Hopefully we'll get that situation.
I did not even notice that.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. As soon as I got everything set up, I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe something happened, and once a super chat comes in on the Redonkulous actual side, it'll show up. It has not. But I do have both of those channels open. We will be programmed to both of those going forward, so we can still do that. Anyways, enough of that. But it does look like the combined YouTube channels, we got 633 viewers.
Wow.
And just now looking over on the Regiment Fallback, 118 likes. And over on the other side, we got 247.
All right.
Rumble's begging for some Clintonista treatment over here. I've got 562 viewers with 152 likes and 3 dislikes, which means we only have 149 likes net value. So smash the like button or face the wrath.
Unfuck yourself, or you're gonna get trailer. Redneck
Yeah.
trailer queen.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Buster.
We don't want that. Let's see here. We will start off with the YouTube side. Again, that is the Regiment Fallback. If you guys want to or have no other way to donate, go over to Regiment Fallback. That is our fallback channel, not the main channel anymore. You'll know it's the fallback because it's Pop giving the thumbs up and not Pop in the wedding dress.
I verbally scolded Blake, and he laughed at me.
Suck it up, man.
Everyone gets fucked with in the regiment. What are you gonna do?
Oh, and I was informed by Billy Von Baum earlier. Pop, there may or may not have been video footage of you running away from your story. One of your stories.
Uh-oh.
We'll get to that a little bit later.
All right.
Jimmy, you're baiting us, you fucker.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's see. The first one comes from Free Gender with $10. Says China's numbers are fake. They had 2 famines, 1 kid policy. They lie about the sky being green. You don't think they're going to lie about population?
No. I know that you're right. We did what's called OB, Order of Battle. I had to know Korea, China, and Russia's order of battles for the shit that I did. And you're correct. I can't say much more than that, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Plains Warrior here with $5 says, Steve, with the strikes, do you think DPRK is rethinking how they have their setups? Aren't Iran DPRK chingos?
No. Yes, they are indeed chingus. Anyway, the North Koreans have granite fault block mountains through most of their terrain. We ain't hitting those bunkers. We might close a few entrances here and there, but you are not hitting those bunkers.
Nope.
You're trying to blast through a 1/4 mile of solid granite. No. You'll close entrances. You can close entrances, but they'll have one somewhere else. They're the mole people. The North Koreans have an underground structure the likes of which nobody has ever seen before.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
There you go. And Dark Pegasus 87 here says, speaking of arrogance and pride, I'm going to butcher this. So Jerry Conway, if you're in the chat, I already saw you're in the chat. So forgive me for not reading my Hooked on Phonics. Got Legio IX Hispania has been found. They were betrayed by the emperor of the time and sent to die.
The 9th Legion of Spain. Yes.
Huh.
Yep. That's the one that got, what's one of the ones that got wiped out under the General Varus. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not good.
And we got Stuart Martin here with $5 Australian, excuse me. Says, why does USA have so many troops everywhere in so many countries?
We don't know.
Because we can't mind our own fucking business. Yeah. That's why.
What he said.
Yep.
What he said.
And he also asks, are they the world police?
We have been used as the world police. We discussed this early on in the show. Yeah.
I'm fucking sick and tired of that bullshit.
Yes. Look, all opinions of other countries aside, no more American blood, treasure, or materials for foreign wars. Fight your own fucking wars.
That's right.
Period.
Yep. 100% agree with that. Oh, come on. Stop fucking with me. Looks like we got David McGlashan, sorry, says, morning from Australia. Keep up your good work.
Hey, how's it going over there?
Thank you,
Down
David.
under.
I've got a Scottish Aussie.
There you go. Dude, make me a Vegemite sandwich. No, seriously. I fucking love Vegemite.
Really? That shit is vile.
I love a fucking toasted tomato sandwich with Vegemite. Fucking love it. Fucking love it.
God, this shit is so nasty.
There you go. All right, we'll jump over to the Rumble side here. Things. Let me check the chats here. Actually, let me see if we got an update on some likes here. 176, 3 downvotes, and 560.
Ooh. Jimmy, punish them. All are punished.
Everyone punished.
Everybody. All right, let's see here. Well, I got to scroll up and find my button because you guys know what time it is.
Oh.
Because MGTOW Mando, he is summoning him. Bolshevik.
Oh, God.
Bolshevik. Let's
Bolshevik.
get it out of the way early.
God damn it!
Beetle Dwarf has been summoned.
Bolsheviks.
No, don't say it.
Bolsheviks.
No, please stop.
Bolsheviks.
It's showtime. Bolsheviks, baby. Everyone drink.
There you go. Yeah, Flash Gator coming in next says, as Pop loves to say, "What's up, savages?" No, he would say something else, but we're on YouTube, so.
Well, I think savages is actually a fitting word for everyone who watches the show. Because obviously, if you're watching the show, your give a fuck meter is broke.
It's true.
And you no longer have any fucks to give. Fuck it.
Fuck
That's what we're
it.
Yep. I wish I could play it, but if you guys would like, look up the song "I've No More Fucks to Give." Good song.
Actually, it's a good song. I've seen that a couple
Great
times.
song.
Did you guys see the text that I sent? I think it was a text or an email. I don't recall. Billy Squire wrote a song about our Thursday night shows back in the fucking 70s or early 80s. Everybody wants you. And one of the lines is, "You take your pension with loneliness and alcohol. Everybody wants you." And it's basically a song about hoflation.
Yeah.
Nice. I did see that text.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Next one's from Suze McCarley. Welcome, Suze. Says, was going to say, "Hey, downvoter, bite my lumpy ass." But the Biatch left.
Oh, you downvoters out there. If you're out there and you're down, please engage. We'll listen. We'll talk to you. We will engage. Bring it on. We love it. Bring the pain, baby.
Yep. Let's see. Flash Gator coming back says, "Remember, gentlemen, if you don't hit that like button, it means you love Israel, and that Hillary will make an appearance."
Oh my God.
Oh God, come on now.
She already made her appearance. And yep, here's the chat from Jerry Conway. It says, "For the record, Jimmy actually did mispronounce Scourge last week, and he owes me $5.
Ruh-roh.
Send me your
Scourge.
Debt incurred.
Send me your Cash App." And also, I said it wrong on purpose because I know how much it triggers you.
That's funny.
We'll get to it.
Yep. And Mando says, Jerry Conway, "In all honesty, we're lucky Jimmy can pronounce his own name."
That's fair.
I can't tie my shoes and I can't chew bubble gum and walk and breathe at the same time.
But he will wrench the fuck out of your truck.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, the perfect setup.
Uh-oh.
Mando coming back says, "Pop, you may have lost weight, but we can see you don't run." Oh no, that's not true. Because Pop, can you give us a refresher of the time that you and a buddy went out up on the hill and had to run away?
Yeah, that was an embarrassing bad day for the popster. Yeah. Lewis was his name, the ranger that was with me, and we had picked up some bar hose at the club on post. And I was basically falling on the grenade operations. The woman that, she was.
Is this a Coyote Exfil story?
Yes. Oh. And we're on Noble Hill. Things are happening. Items might have been in somebody's mouth.
Oh.
It is what it is. And I was sobering up, and I'm literally like, when this is over, I'm going to have to talk to this fat. And I'm like, nope. I take off at a full Ranger sprint. Lewis is right behind me. Why are we running? We run right into the Alpha Company barracks. And you come in the back door of the barracks, and you can see the CQ desk right at the front door on the other side of the building.
It's one of the old barracks.
All of the barracks are the same.
Yeah.
We really come running in there. I'm like, fat bitches behind us. Hide us. Without missing a beat, guy stands up right in here. He shuts the door, and then these women are like, "Yeah, I came in here." He goes, "I've been here all night. I've seen nothing. He's like, you need to leave, or I'm going to call the MPs." And they're like, they argued for 3 or 4 minutes, and I hear him pick up the phone, and he's just like, "Should I dial now?" And then they finally storm out.
Well, Pop, unbeknownst
Coyote Xville.
Unbeknownst to you, Pop, someone has video footage. They got video footage of you running away from that incident.
She was not that heavy.
Allegedly.
Up, yeah. That was a bad day.
Oh,
thank you,
Billy
Billy
Bob
Bomb.
Let's just be honest. It could have went better.
All right, going back to the super chats here, we got For the Emperor. It says glory be to the bomb and the holy fallout, as it was in the beginning and is now and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Beneath the planet of the apes.
All right.
And Flash Gator here for $5 says, didn't the CIA already perform a regime change in the 1950s? How'd that work out for us?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The whole Shah thing. That's precisely. I know it's not on a super chat, but there's a whole different channel full of military. One of them says, it's about time we got some Navy talk on this show. Wait. Are you feeling lonely, sailor? No homo.
Listen, man. The sewer pipe sailors are insane.
The sewer pipe sailor, the sub guys are nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely batshit crazy.
They have the best stories, though.
They do.
Well, if you are lonely here, sailor, you can always join the gay cruise.
Whoa.
Green screen abuse. That's exactly what that is. Green screen. All right, I won't say anymore.
Green abuse. I love the fact that Blake managed to shoot that in daylight outside like that. It gives it such a realistic air. But Blake is a 17th level wizard, so
yes, he is. You don't want to fuck with that guy.
No.
Let's see. Moving on here, we got Susan McCarthy coming back. She says, today the swamp is saying Iran's nuke program was only set back by a few months, and some uranium is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance this is true, or if it's just a repeat of the WMDs?
Well,
no,
we will not know accurately for at least 180 days.
Okay. We're not going to know a lot of the shit that went on around that period. That's just how that world works. As far as the WMDs go, I know 2 different units that did encounter them in Iraq. There was one newspaper article on it that disappeared right away.
Nope.
And if I'm not mistaken, Pop, your guys came across at least a small amount of it.
Half a pallet.
So, look, Iraq used WMDs all the time throughout the 80s against the Kurds and during the Iraq-Iran war.
Yes.
So, were WMDs there? Yes. Were they the threat that we made them out to be?
No.
I don't believe so.
No.
I think they were old. I think they were bad news. One of the guys that I knew it was a regiment guy. This was 2nd Battalion. Said that one of the guys in his team got some fucking mustard gas on him and from a leaking container and had to be medevaced.
Well, my guys jumped a truck heading to Fallujah, and basically got it to pull over. We basically hijacked it, if you want to use that kind of word.
It's a war. There's no hijacking.
Yeah, I got you. But it was loaded with tons and tons of like bombs and mines and
good times.
Regular boom putty.
Yeah.
And towards the back, there was half a pallet of VX shells. They're 152, I think they were.
VX bad. Did you
was-
guys get the fuck away from that right away?
Well, actually, two of my guys rode with the driver with a gun to his head and made him drive back to Victory, where we parked it like way, way far away from.
Woo! Okay, so VX is a nerve agent, and if you get it, it's portrayed in the movie The Rock, and they use Dawn dish soap as the VX agent in the little green balls. That was Dawn dish soap.
Yeah.
At any rate, real VX will cause you to spasm and break your own back. It is an incredibly virulent nerve agent. Pop, you guys should have really just blown that truck from a distance.
I gotcha.
Phrasing.
I mean, it's done now. It's done now. I mean, you can't re-roll those dice, but as soon as I saw VX, dude, I would have been the fuck out of there.
And it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, I got called back, to Victory to identify if it really was the truck by individuals who I did not recognize any insignia and
Tier 1 guys, or
I have no idea. I think they're maybe, I don't know.
Christians in action.
But that entire half pallet was put on a forklift. I watched it go in the back of the C-130 and it disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Let's see. We'll jump back to the super chats here. Got Stuart jumping back over on the YouTube side. Another $5 Australian. Says, sounds good in theory, but foreign nations will manufacture reasons to rip the USA into war, even allies. It's always happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
One day I'll tell the story of World War One, but not tonight. Carry on, Jimmy.
Carry on, Jimmy.
Yep. All right, jumping back over to the Rumble side, we got Flash Gator coming back. Says, is it just me, or does Battle Dwarf look wiser with every passing show? It must be your beautiful beard. Me and I bet Pop are very jealous.
No. I upgraded my camera. I have a new camera. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, Mando coming back says, perhaps Iran is just trying to convert the Church of Adam and spread his holy division throughout the world. Dwarf, we all know you want to bow to the glow of Adam.
I have no idea what you're talking about at all.
That's a Fallout reference.
Oh, that's why. I'm a tabletop D&D guy. I don't play video games. No, correction. I do play Doom, but only with all of the cheats on because it's my therapy that keeps me out of federal prison.
I understand completely.
Yep. And Mando again says, why do the Iraqis use glass bottom boats? So they can see their Air Force.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Nice.
Let's see. We got Bubix here with $1. Says, how unsafe is it to fly through Doha now?
Oh, gosh. Let's take a look at the map real quick. Where is Doha? You should be okay. That is in Oman, isn't it?
If it was me personally, I would not be in the Middle East unless I was in uniform and they made me.
I am going to opine, this is my opinion, that Qatar, Emirates, Dubai is in Emirates, and Oman are pretty safe right now for the reasons previously mentioned. Iran does not want banking interests fucked with. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Iran,
but you never hear of shit in those countries.
But right now, Iran's anti-aircraft capabilities have been destroyed.
Yes,
much of their air force is done.
Yep.
They have. If you want to actually bomb them into the Stone Age, you could get away with it, and there's fuck all they could do about it.
Their ability to project outside of their borders right now, with any significant military force, has been reduced by probably 90%, I would say. Now, if you're talking soft teams and stupid games, that's a whole different monkey. That's very hard to interdict.
And that's another show.
that is another show. But as far as air power and shit like that, yeah, Iran's fucked.
Yep. They're fooked.
Let's see. Moving on in the Rumble chats here, we got 68 Barracuda. Says, "Hey, you're not Pop. You're the Fat Punisher Pop. I see you wearing a girdle. I know you've been hitting the Breyer's mint chip.
This is actually a belt for my fucked up back.
Oh, that's what's going on there. I was starting to wonder. You were like misshapen.
Yeah. Listen, I got infantry back.
Yeah.
I threw it out like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Bad.
Yeah.
So I'm babying it now until it stops.
I'm dealing with LLVI hips from our big fucking rucks.
Yep.
My hips are degrading.
Well, we're old. Things break. This is the way it goes.
Yeah. Alrighty. Do some moving some shit around here. Sorry about that. Let's see. We got Paladin BRs. $2 says, "Been through the Strait more than once with hands on the throttle of the lead screw. There are still small boys between the carrier and the coast."
It's not 20 miles is
Persian Gulf float.
Nothing. Nothing.
No,
No.
No,
Not with that much billions of hardware and thousands of lives.
6,000 guys on a Nimitz class.
That's just on the carrier. What about those other ships?
Right, exactly.
You don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got our first We're Not Worthy here from Generic Dreamers. He's dropping $50. Says, "I sent my message to Redonkulous 12 with the title Administrative Violence."
Okay.
Well, let's look.
We'll keep an eye out for that, but you get one of these, good sir.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Huh.
Did you find it?
Yes, it says, "If that widow with the 5 divorced sons from your prior video hasn't bought your administrative violence course yet, just send it to her on me. If she did, then send it to the next person who emails you. That can definitely use it." Okay, brother. Thank you so much.
Outstanding.
Yeah. And I got an email from like an older lady who had grandchildren who was royally pissed because she doesn't get to see them because of the fun and games of the divorced wives. So
why would you keep children from grandparents?
Bitches and whores and cunts and shit.
Wow. Just wow.
Bitches, cunts and whores.
Just
oh my.
Well, if anything, in my situation, it probably would have been best to keep my sister away from my grandparents on my mom's side, because then my mom or my sister, my dad may still have some kind of a relationship.
Wow. Remind me, by the way, I have to send you the revised list for Thursday. It has been bountiful. The tears have fertilized the garden heavily for Thursday night material. And we have a whole new category called "We Broke Them."
Nice. Yes.
Let's see. And Mando coming back says, "Which displaces more, a Nimitz class on a cruise or Lizzo at the beach?"
Ooh, that's a close.
That's tough.
That's very close.
That's tough. That's a lot of displacement.
Yeah.
Odds. And we got Paladin BR coming in, $5, says, "Also, boomers are the missile subs. They didn't play cat and mouse with other subs. That would be the fast attack boats. Shore duty was fixing fast attacks."
Okay. I was not Navy. I thought it was boomer. My bad.
Yeah. I rode on a fast attack sub when we did a joint op with the Navy when I was in the Ranger Battalion. I spent a total of maybe 8 hours on that thing, and I could not wait to get the fuck off that and never go back.
I spent 10 days supporting you faggots doing that shit.
On a sub?
Not a sub, on the Blue Ridge.
No, a sub's a whole different type of nasty.
Totally different thing.
I'll pass. Let's see. We got Tomahawk jumping in with $10, says, "My father was a sailor during Vietnam. Has lots of stories. Said they actually sailed up a river. I forget the name. Were shelling for 3 days straight. Said no one could hear for a week."
I would imagine so.
Yep.
Wow. Selling
And-
for 3 days straight.
And Tomahawk again, $5 says, Dad also said the Philippines was like Disneyland for adult men.
Yes.
Many of the Navy guys that I knew retired to either Thailand or the Philippines. And their pensions went far.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. 68 Barracuda coming back says, Hobbit, would they be risking running that bottleneck as a cock tease for the Iranians to have an excuse to start a war? Would it be a good excuse to run to Congress begging for money for new toys?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. That is definitely a possibility.
Yep.
Yep.
Mando,
that is definitely a possibility.
Yep. Mando jumping in says, classic Battlestar Galactica had a scene like that when an enemy fighter flew into one of the boys on a kamikaze run and destroyed a Battlestar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Those carrier bays where the ship's below deck, those are wide open during operations. And if you could get a bunch of drones in there, it would wreak untold havoc. It would shut that ship all the way the fuck down.
Yes, it would.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Paladin BR coming in. Says, Dwarf, don't need the tower to fight the carrier. Hangar bay doors are closed and restricted maneuvering like the Strait. And micro drones aren't going to scratch screws bigger than your truck.
That's probably true, but I wouldn't want to be alongside a tech of that scale.
Maybe it's not thousands. Maybe it's just hundreds of 200-pound, explosive drones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A 200-pound warhead going off that's a big boom. And listen, that warfare's coming.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd be shocked in the next 10 years if we didn't see a ship that all it had on it was drones. That's coming. You heard it.
I would imagine so. But to that viewer's point, thank you for that piece of information. I did not know they closed those doors during close quarters maneuver.
Okay.
That's good. That's good information. Carry on.
Absolutely. Carrying on. Let's see here. Looks like we had got Dr. Pyrostein. He's raided the stream. So all of those followers of Dr. Pyrostein, thank you for joining in there. Let's see here. Ellie Card 1776. Don't worry, Pop. It's not something for you.
Good.
Says Jimmy, question: who does your Night Terror demon work for besides you? He's an independent contractor, and he's a pretty decent dude.
Yeah, did you ever watch
He's a janitor down at the local junior high.
Hey, Jimmy, do you watch that show called Evil?
I don't.
Because they have a Night Terror demon in there too. You need to watch that. That's a really good series. It's like 3 seasons.
There's the rabbit Frank in that movie that I can't recall the name of right now either.
Okay.
All right. Yep. I will write that down.
Frank the rabbit.
Evil. All right. And Ellie Card. Well, this one's for you, Pop. The dog man called. She wants Pop to sing, and she wants Snoo Snoo bring beer in a tent. Make her squeal, Pop.
Okay.
Make her squeal.
All right. Good. All right.
Donnie Darko.
I hate that video. All right, next one, Jimmy.
Next one, we got 68 Barracuda says, if Iran shuts down the Strait, what will happen to the Asian economies when the oil stops flowing? How will that economic
very good question?
How will that economic shutdown diffuse to the rest of the world?
The whole world will be royally pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iran risks a lot by attempting to shut down that strait. It's an enormous risk for them.
Yeah. Yeah. If the good idea fairy shows up and say, hey, Iran, shut down the strait. Don't fucking do it. Because you're not going to
I hate the good idea.
So remember a couple of questions back when somebody asked if you sending ships through the strait might be bait?
That's expensive bait.
Well, no, somebody asked that question, though. Could it be an excuse to drag us into the war? Well, I just got an email from another one of the viewers who said that one of those carriers is set to be decommissioned in the next 6 months, which could be bait because they were already going to decommission it.
Yeah, but you got
That-
6,000 eyes on that, man.
Oh, like they give a fuck about us. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
USS
Hey, we're-
Liberty, USS Liberty 2.0 question mark.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know, do some research.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mando Jumpback says, I have a CBRN biomaker that I post on the latrine at work when someone goes to toxic hell for lunch. Only 3 other people know what I mean.
Yep.
CBRN is what we used to call NBC.
NBC,
So,
yep.
yeah.
Seaburn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why I got to change all the acronyms and shit. Just leave it the way it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Cliff3188 jumping in says, I never knew that tight, wet lane can handle that big of loads and 30% of the global amount at that.
It's really bad.
Crazy.
It's an absolute fucking nightmare. If I was a commander in that area, there's no way I would try to run vessels through there more than one at a time. With heavy air support.
Wait. He says, he continues, but enough about Bonnie Blue. The Strait of Hormuz has quite the strategic depth to it.
You make a good point, sir. You make a good point. Bonnie Blue's the one who took 500 with a blown out sack laying in the hospital bed.
I don't think it was 500. I think it was less. But yeah, she did go to the hospital and then got promptly banned.
She blew out her whistle sack.
She blew out all her sacks.
Yeah. Carry on.
Carrying on. And 2 Gas here says 105 ships. Yeah, that sounds like they want to try getting up a blockade.
One of the nightmare scenarios, speaking of, for that 20-mile stretch is if several ships were scuttled in there and reduced that to 10 miles.
Yep.
That would be a brutal choke point.
Yep.
That would be a really seriously brutal choke point.
That would be very bad.
Yeah, this is bad, right? This is bad.
Really bad.
For those of you who don't know what scuttling is, it is the deliberate sinking of a ship to block a harbor or passage.
Or destroy your own ship to keep it from falling into enemy hands.
That's fair. Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. Let's see. We got International House of Whoop-Ass jumping in. Says, notice that after the spicy Dorito went out, Russia and China got real quiet. Reminds me of the meme. You want what he is? Yeah. You want what he is having? Meme with Batman.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Let's see. Mando jumped back, says the F-117 got retired after one got shot down during peacekeeping ops. I think in the Balkans, but I'm not sure. But
I remember that. I remember that incident.
But he's also wondering if we need to check in on Bolsheviksville. How is Dwarf and Nancy doing? Let's find out.
Oh, Lord.
In Bolsheviksville, where the sun shines bright, live Dwarf and Nance, what a charming sight. With Sandy the maid and Pop dropping by, and Hillary's antics that'll make you sigh. Oh, Dwarf and Nance, they've got it made, with laughter, love, and a living made. From morning toast to an evening dance, it's always a hoot with Dwarf and Nance.
I like that one.
The problem is it's catchy and plausible.
Yes, it is.
That bothers me.
And of course, I was doing the Dwarf and Nance dance. You couldn't see it because I'm not on camera.
That night was great, where Jimmy was actually there, and you could see him doing the dances to all the things.
Well, Pop and Dwarf could
that's
see me dancing. You guys couldn't. Maybe one day I'll do the Dwarf and Nance dance for you guys.
That's fantastic.
Not today.
Not today.
That's
Let's
fantastic.
see. We got Spud Hut here with $5. That's a new name. Welcome, sir.
Make-
Says stick Battle Dwarf on a sub for a week.
No. Fuck you. No. Hard pass.
That's gonna suck.
I will take fuck this shit for 1,000, Alex.
Exactly. No. Seriously, I joined the army to stay off of big gray pointy things. That was why I joined the army. I did not want to be in the Navy. I knew what it meant. I had 3 uncles and a brother who were all in the Navy who described ship life, and I'm like, no.
Yeah,
And my first real world assignment's a fucking Blue Ridge.
Nice.
There you go. We got a Flan here, a Flan 07 with $5. That's another new name. Says last Sunday, 30 miles offshore of Tampa, I heard fighters maneuvering hard at 4 a.m. Phrasing. Oh, excuse me. An hour later, I see a silver dot on the horizon moving strangely, then move 90 degrees, bearing across the horizon in less than a second.
Ooh. That's an UFO.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's an
I got
UFO.
nothing. It's an UFO.
It's an UFO.
Here's my theory about UFOs. I think it's teenage aliens buzzing Earth to piss off the hairless monkeys. I think it's like this rite of passage for teenage aliens. Let's go fuck with the fucking Earthlings. This is going to be funny.
That seems plausible to me. Fuck it.
Yeah. It's basically the interstellar meme. And
Yeah. Alien
we
teenagers buzzing the Earth.
we on Earth, we are the meme.
Or alien drunk drivers.
Yeah.
There you go. Bando coming back says, I heard that when we hit Frodo, the bomber Skywalker did that shit, dropping at least one bunker buster down an exhaust port.
Oh God, yeah. Those memes were that Twitter was full of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
That was
Twitter was
fucking
absolutely full of that stuff.
hilarious. Let's see. We got Longshot 000. That's another new name I haven't seen here. He's dropping 50 on us.
Woo!
Says a homo suspicion point needs to go to Spud Hut. Gotcha.
Okay.
What happened?
Well, we're going to drop the homo suspicion point because it has been assessed, and then we're going to get
All right.
we're not worthy.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
Fair enough.
That's one. But this one goes out to you there.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
All right.
Long shot there. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Now we're getting into the double ones here. Says, it looks like Spud Hut and Longshot are in a bit of a friendly banter.
Oh.
But Spud Hut comes back with $20. Says 1 teabag to Longshot.
Fair enough.
There was a firefight.
Oh boy.
Best scene in Boondock Saints.
Hmm.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it is that time where I gotta put pop.
Oh God,
full
no.
screen
Here we go again.
from Alucard 17.
Hey!
For $5. You're gonna have to bump these up, man, because I'm kind of getting I'm retching as I'm reading these as well. So
Stop.
bump up that donation. But snot pocket laced with pus mixed with vomit, nodules of chunky period blood, zinc broth and vag juice.
It's always zinc! It's always zinc!
Brownish green slime, starburst brown goo, leaking into your mouth and down your throat.
Oh God! God
What's wrong
damn
with you?
Is that please be the end?
That's the end, Pop.
Terrible.
What's wrong
That's
with you?
the end.
It's always the
Alucard,
zinc.
what's
It's always the fucking zinc, man.
Who hurt you, man?
God damn it.
I don't think I want to know.
It's all right.
Seriously.
He's a good dude. He's just fucking with
He's a
me.
good dude. Let's see. We got Anonymous here for $2. Says, I read Saddam's Secret written by his air marshal. He said there were WMDs smuggled out to Syria. I'm still glad Canada stayed out of that one, though. didn't agree with the regime change.
Canada.
We know about the Syria smuggling stuff.
Well,
that
here's the
was
thing.
all over
When
the
I
wire.
was there, Syria was smuggling into Iraq platter charges that could go through M1 Abram tanks.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It was fucking creepy as fuck.
Yikes. Let's see. Mando coming back says, "You don't blow VX. Leave that Shiite for proper disposal." Also, Jimmy, make Dwarf visit Nance for that one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make Dwarf visit his other WMD girlfriend, Chocolate Chunk.
Now that's good and tasty.
Nice.
Chocolate Chunk. That's horrible.
That is.
You're right. You don't blow VX, but I still would not have taken it back to base. I would have found a way to get rid of it somehow.
To be honest with you, I don't think they understood what it was until they got to victory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yep. Makes sense. Let's see. We got Bubbox coming back, says, "Okay, thanks. Let's just hope Qatar Air changes route if some shit changes then." Yeah.
I feel like those nations there are going to be reasonably safe, honestly, right now. I don't think Iran is ready to elevate shit to that level, and they don't have any air power right now. So, anyway, carry on.
Carry on.
Carrying on. We got Paladin BR with $10 says, "Until drones can carry the payload of current fixed wing aircraft, CVNs will be used. There will be losses. Every one of us knew we were the biggest, juiciest target of hundreds of miles of open ocean."
Yep.
Yeah. Just don't touch the boats, because if you touch the boats, you get the sun.
That's right.
They're going to attempt to hit one of our naval vessels. They're just going to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to get fucked up.
Well, they'll get after the fact, they'll get fucked up, but I think we are about to learn a hard lesson about the new world when it comes to what we thought we used to have ultimate naval power. I think we're about to have that tested.
You're probably correct.
Yep. And we got 68 Barracuda coming back, says, "Capture that for the soundboard. Like they give a fuck about us. Come on."
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
There were several moments where I was like, they're probably just going to leave us here.
Probably.
Fortunately, that did not happen, but believe me, we were thinking it.
Yep. Let's see. Ali Card coming in and says, "Who did your Night Terror demon work for before he came freelance?" I haven't asked him that. I'm gonna have to sit him down this weekend and crack open a cigar and have some drinks with him.
Yeah,
a little chat with him. Kevin's a good dude. Let's see. Nanus $2 says, "Aliens travel across the galaxy because they're obsessed with our buttholes."
According to South Park, this is accurate information.
Correct.
Yeah. Let's see. Tomahawk says, "If I'm not mistaken, Spud Hut and Longshot are part of the LTC Steve Murray's crew."
Oh, Lieutenant Colonel Murray's crew. That's entirely possible. And that will probably reflect in my signal here very soon because I'm part of that bunch too.
So am I.
Yep.
Good to see you guys here. Yeah, Alicard, don't worry, Pop. Says, "Would I make a good member of the regiment's bad batch?"
Do we need a regiment Dirty Dozen?
I don't know. Maybe we should look into this.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like the Bad Batch idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Write that down.
That's a Disney invention.
Write it down, faggot.
All right. Yeah.
We'll have to come up with
We'll
have to come up with a good name there for that, but I think we will. We got Paladin BR coming in, says, "Pop, keep it in perspective. You volunteered to jump out of airplanes. Submariners get on a boat designed to sink and in theory come back up, built on government contract by the lowest bidder."
I mean, that's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
It's not wrong at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Paladin again coming in and says, and yes, we are looking at another main.
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, looks like last one here on the Rumble side, but I know there's a sneaky bastard out there somewheres. Fuckers. Last one here. Mando says ET is not trying to learn about US via rectal probing anymore. Now they're trying to program troons and 304s. Well, you know what? Well, you know what? ET was actually the really the only alien that I really supported because he wanted to learn English and then go home.
I like it.
And he liked Reese's Pieces.
There you go. All righty, let me jump back over to the U-boob side. Actually, I can do it this way. Boom. Over here, looks like we got another couple other ones here. A couple from Stuart from Australia. First one, $5. Says, you guys should get Andrew Wilson on. He's a political commentator and satire.
I know who he is.
Satirist, among other things.
We'll find out.
Be a bomb.
I don't think he would come on our show. He only like goes on the bigger ones.
Fuck it. Let's try. Pop.
Yeah.
Quit being a low rent faggot.
I'm not. I'm just saying.
Okay. Then put it. Let's see if he'll come.
Okay.
Worst case scenario is he says no.
I got
That
you.
is the absolute worst case scenario.
I'm trying to get on some of the bigger podcasts when he's there so we can like have a back and forth.
Let's bring them to us.
I do not agree with his basically men should get married. He does not seem to understand.
Okay.
The fucking
Okay. So you disagree.
Yeah.
Okay. So you disagree.
I got you.
I will graze your nuts.
I think that's a homo suspicion point, Jimmy.
You are fined 1 homo suspicion point for violation of the Man Code Morality Statute.
No.
Sorry, you walked right into that one.
As in like a glancing blow, not like graze on your nuts like a cow.
You're not helping yourself here, Steve. You're talking about grazing nuts and blowing.
Jimmy!
Come on, man.
Carry on.
Choose your words more wisely next time, sir.
It's late in the evening.
You're getting schooled by a trunk monkey who works
I was young and I needed the money.
$20 is $20.
Next one. This is getting out of hand.
All righty, let's see here. Yep, there's the sneaky bastard there. It's Alucard, and he's wanting box wine of Catland. Well, we're going to do the short version since we're running just a little bit over time here, but here you go.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no sweater. Stop!
Speaking of box wine and Catland, Dwarf, did we is the new spot in box wine and Catland confirmed?
Ick Island.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We are working on Ick Island.
Ick Island. It is roughly northwest of Bob Bayou.
It might be northwest of Bob Bayou. Ick Island is mostly populated by, I'll tell you the horror story. There was a guy at a roadhouse that I go to sometimes to have a burger because it's a good dive bar and they make a great burger. But apparently he was sampling the waitresses, but also he was married and he took home some vada.
That's not a good thing to happen.
Well, this is a biker roadhouse, so the waitresses are appropriate to a biker roadhouse. And the only thing I could think of was ick.
Yep. He probably caught some gonorrhea light.
Just ick.
And let's see.
And so Ick Island came to be.
There you go. And Stuart, again, over on the YouTube side, says Bonnie puts the whore in Hormuz. Too much oil. Actually, Suze McCarley brought up a good suggestion here. Let me find it. I need to share
Ruh-roh.
I need to share the entire screen, so we may or may not get some popception here for a second. There you go. There's a Hormuz.
I like it.
The Hormuz. Yes.
It's legit. It's legit.
The Hormuz. I like it.
There you go. Thank you, Suze, for sending that one in.
Thank you.
Had to get that one up. Oh, we got Stuart again. Says, not true. Wilson's been on Levi Nick's show, a small red pill channel. Just take some time to get through all the requests and schedule it. And if you dangle the carrot for a debate, he'll bite.
See, I'm not a good debater.
I am. I'll fucking do it.
All right.
Fucking do it, man.
We'll see what we can do. See what we could do.
Stop being gay.
No promises, though.
Pop. Nobody's gonna die. You'll be fine.
All right.
Yep. Oh, 68 Barracuda. He's asking for requesting a repeat guest. Have you guys considered Jericho Green? He has been on there.
Yeah. I'll get with Blake and see if we can set something up.
Yep. Says, good damn morning, Americans. I keep trying to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Yep.
It happens.
Jericho Green is a good dude. He has been on a guest on the show before.
Mm-hmm. He's a good motherfucker. I got nothing negative to say.
Good dude. All right, we'll jump over to the MGTOW side of things. We'll try to get things rolling along here. Looks like got a handful over here. First 3 from Crazy Uncle. Says, do a quick war game if Iran decides to bend over the world by blocking the Strait of Hormuz and or the Suez Canal. Also, a 100% drone swarm against a U.S. battle group in the Strait.
Very quickly, if Iran takes out the Strait of Hormuz, it will be a financial war, and Iran will be gutted like a fucking fish because there's too much money moving through that strait. The nations that are in there will not tolerate such nonsense for more than a week or two, and Iran will be forced to withdraw from that venue. That's my opinion on the Straits of Hormuz.
Now, in regards to the drones, it all depends upon how fast and maneuverable they are and how many there are and what directions they come in.
Yeah.
Because there are numbers of just regular drones, if they come from multiple angles, can overpower the defenses. So that is possible.
CIWS are bad news. Do not underestimate the CIWS, but if the drones have the numbers, I agree with Pop.
Yeah.
There you go. Let's see, Crazy Uncle again. Battledore from Pop. If you really want to get a pucker factor on this subject, watch after the show. He sends us a link. I will save that. I will actually send it to you, email it to you guys.
Okay.
Because I did open it up. It is a 21-minute video, so we don't have time to watch it tonight, but I will send it to the guys.
Okay. All right. I'll watch it in the morning.
I will get it over to them. Let's see. Moisture Patrol, $15, says, if I start a spa, should I call it Hoisted and Moisted?
Hoisted.
Do it.
Hoisted. I like it.
Do it.
Do it.
Nice.
Do it.
I had a joke, but I don't think I want to say it because it's pretty fucking crude. That's bad. It's bad news.
Slap yourself in the wrist, Jimmy.
Bad. Yeah. The evil monkey part of my brain was thinking, and yeah, that's terrible.
That happens.
Next one, last one here. MGTOW Ronan says, hey gents, hope your day was great. So glad you got the channel back, Pop. The gods have shown mercy upon you. Battledorf, question. What would happen if because of Israel's bullshit, America just told Israel, this is your mess, your fight, you're on your own. We're done.
Yeah. The minute we withdraw totally from Israel is when all of the Muslim countries descend on them and wipe them out.
Regionally, it would be a catastrophe for Israel. Economically, here in the United States, I think we would discover just how much influence they actually have, and some bad things would happen, but I think we could recover.
Yeah, we would recover.
Well, there's only one person in Congress that does not have an AISD person watching over them, I believe, or whatever the fuck it's called. And that's Thomas Massey.
APAC. Yeah, Thomas
APAC.
Massey.
Thank you. APAC. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. And
Out of 535 representatives, Thomas Massey is the only one who does not have an APAC representative. Now, that should make every fucking one of you question the whole situation and the whole narrative.
Yes.
Yep. It should make you question everything. Everything. And MGTOW Ronan finishes out, says, everyone feels Israel is a major liability to the USA. Israel is that fucker of a friend that is always getting you into fights and is getting old, and it's getting old.
Yeah. Look, I've brought this up before. There's a book out there. The book is called Conquest Through Immigration. The author is George Robnett. It was written in 1968. And the entire book is him going and gathering documents throughout history. Conquest Through Immigration. Find it and read it.
All right.
Carry on.
And we'll jump over to the Odyssey side where Blankets has a few super chats here. He's asking, Pop, how much longer do you think it will last?
As in,
specify what it is there, Blankets, because there's a
war?
lot of shit going
Well,
on.
I'm pretty sure he's talking about this conflict that's going on. I'd give it 6 months to a year.
6 months to a year? They don't
6
really
months to
have
a year.
enough stones to fight for more than six weeks.
Yeah, but they'll drag it out. It doesn't necessarily have to be kinetic the entire time.
Fair enough.
Yep. Oh, shit. And Blankets, he's got 2 in a row here. They tie in together. He says, yeah, this movie's going to do well. Apparently, Snow White actress Rachel Zegler is set to play Maria in the new Sound of Music production.
I won't be watching.
Sorry.
Yeah. I won't watch that shit.
Mm-mm. Nobody will.
No.
Well,
No.
number one, I can't go see a musical because I can't afford the homeless subscription points of attending. So, not happening.
Okay.
Yeah. And Blankets again says, the harmonics don't seem good for this movie.
Mm-mm.
No, she's a stupid cunt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, she'll probably do an all vowel opera hour on the big, tall German guy with the fancy background arm.
An all vowel opera hour.
Yep.
I like that.
That's when she gets her tonsils dislocated.
Mm-hmm. How many homo suspicion points do I get if I tell you that I can probably sing most of South Pacific off the top of my head?
That would be
and
2.
Also Oklahoma.
That's 2.
Rachel Zegler is starring in the Sound of Music. The hills are alive with the sound of.
Well, if you can use Pearl of Pearly Things. She uses a phrase called glug glug.
Glug glug.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little glug glug. I laugh my ass off every time I hear that.
And Blankets again, he is specifying he is asking yes about the war.
Yes. Yep. So we gave our opinion on that.
Yep. There we go. All right. We'll jump over to the D Live, which may or may not be a part of the lineup here moving forward. I'm going to be talking with the guys after the show, backstage, and whatnot, because we usually only get about 6 viewers over there. And a lot of the viewers have moved over to either Rumble, D-Live, or not D-Live, Rumble, MGTOW, or somewhere else. So we will talk about that. So D-Live, for now, you are safe. Twitch
gone,
has been put on the chopping block. So guys that are on the Twitch side say, "Where's Pop at?"
Sorry, man.
Sorry, you have to jump over to Rumble, MGTOW.tv, because if the conversation is boring, trust me, the chat is not. And let's see, we'll jump over to the Twatosphere. We got 127 views over there.
All right, yeah.
All righty.
I did
And
send you an Instagram, Jimmy, because the links didn't have the Twitter and the links that you sent me in the email.
Just ignore him, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I sent everything out, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. No, it's just Pop being Pop, Jimmy. Ignore it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got you.
Alrighty. It has been addressed. Looks like no. We still got to get the Cash App also figured out as well. So, Pop, if you could open up the Cash App here.
I'm sorry, I'm having ghost activity to the left of me.
That's all right. We had a couple more jump over on the YouTube side from Stuart, $10 Australian, says, not true. Wilson's been, oh, nope, I already read that one. Let's see. Stuart says, the hills are alive with the sound of mucus.
Mucus.
And zinc.
Oh, stop!
Oh, come on.
Oh, we got one here from a Cash App from Mark Von Meers, $10. Thank you. For drunk uncles, wish me luck on starting my business. Okay. Good luck.
Good luck.
That. Let's see. Next one is from Crunch Muncher for 50 for the best newscasters out there. And that is We're Not Worthy, Jimmy.
Thank you.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And then we got 30 from Susie McCarley.
Thank you, Suze.
For living out of spite.
There you go.
I like it.
There you go. And that was it.
Rumble slid a few in.
Yep, I saw that. Let's see. We got Alley Card coming in and says, bought traps for my gear. I'm planning on to be mobile so I can get a bigger tent.
Okay.
Rumble likes to slide him through the back door when we're not looking.
And we got Paladin here says, if the ragheads dogpile Azrael, everything goes to hell due to Samson option.
I believe the Samson option is when they Israel pulls out their own nuclear warheads that they're not supposed to have, which we know they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the end of Israel. I'm just telling you right now. That would
so
be the
Juneteenth, the actual Juneteenth celebration is the execution of the Rosenberg couple.
Yes.
Okay.
That sold the nuclear weapons the nuclear weapon information to Israel.
Damn dirty commies.
What are you going to do, man?
Let's see. And Tomahawk with the last one of the night, it looks like, says, I'm with Dwarf. Who doesn't love a good musical? White Christmas, anyone?
It's fair. I like it. I like White Christmas.
I'm not a fan of musicals. Sorry.
I could do West Side Story.
Are you trying to become homo confirmed or what? I mean, stop.
I was a theater kid.
Okay.
Until I was like 15, 16 years old, I was a theater kid.
All right.
I did Camelot. I was in a production of Camelot at Macomb Community College.
Oh. In your younger years, you did Camelot, and in Pop's younger years, he did Camelot.
You're not wrong.
All right. I did Camelot, and Pop did anything that walked by with a pulse.
That's also true. To an extent.
Let's see. All right, looks like we had one last sneaky bastard come in. Alley Cart's wanting to see the singing Blake because you know what? What is it? What is a singing show or Redonkulous show when we got singing Pop? But we don't got
Redonkulous is the musical. Play it, Jimmy.
There we go.
We did have a request for singing Pop. You guys are jackasses. Always want to watch the same shit over and over again. Pick new videos.
Look at me, I wanna be the captain of the sea.
About time.
The poop deck ain't for me. I'd rather steer us to debauchery.
Careful what you ask for, video guy. Careful what you ask for.
See, Redonkulous is a musical.
Stop it.
Oh my God, we're getting bombed over on Rumble all of a sudden.
Oh, geez. Let's see here.
Card says
spicy zinc.
Oh God.
Let's see. And all right, last two of the night, you bastards. We got Mando here says, as SPC4s, Papa Dwarf did a Shamalot.
All E4s do. That's what the E4 Mafia does.
I was the king of the E4 Mafia. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Tomahawk, liking musicals does not make one homo. Grease anyone?
Olivia Newton-John looked hot in those leather pants.
She's dead.
Is she dead?
I believe she's dead.
I believe
Anyway.
so.
All right.
All righty, let's see. Last one. Stuart over on YouTube. And Tommy
It never
D
stops.
and Tommy Lee did Pam-a-lot.
Okay, that shit's funny. That shit's funny.
And gave her hepatitis C. Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's not good.
Not good at all. All right, you bastards. That's it for the super chats. I know you bastards like singing and all this other stuff, sneaking it in on us. But let me make sure, just in case. Let's see. Looks like Blankets is over on Odyssey side, says, Pop, hoping you tried pill.net soon. We'll check
Pill.net.
Pilled.net.
Oh, pilled.
Take a look.
I'll take a look at it.
Pilled.net. We'll take a look at that. So, alrighty, that is it for the super chats. I don't care if you guys send one in. If you do send one in and I don't read it, call me an asshole. Well,
That's fine.
That's just what I do. But Battledorf, you have the distinguished honor of giving us our first final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, well, gosh. I don't have any.
No, that's fine.
Well, there you go. All right, Pop. Well,
what do you want from me? Get off my lawn.
Let us begin. All right, everybody, don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. It's not going to work out for you. If you absolutely must fornicate, wear a condom. Take it with you. Flush it down the toilet. Why? Because women are sneaky bitches and child support does last 18 to 21 years, depending upon the state you are in. Rack up, pack up, and stack up. There's always safety in numbers. That's why zebras travel in herds. And last but not least, I'm sick and tired of throwing you dudes in the dirt because you're taking a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Play the long game. You have no idea what tomorrow holds, and it could change on a dime. Stay in the fight. And if all else fails, live out of spite. And always remember, Uncle Pop's here, cheering for you at all your victories, even the ones you can never tell anyone about. Winning. Boom. Beer me. All right.
There you go. And speaking of boom, beer me, you guys know me. Redonkulous.com. Jump over, get some merch. Wear the merch. Tag me, tag Pop, tag Battledorf in all of the social medias. We'll see it. We'll like it. We may or may not give you a thumbs up for it. Just not up your ass because we're not gay. Again, there's all sorts of good stuff out there. And like I mentioned last week, there's some new merch in the works. And well, if you don't buy it, you can suck a dick. And my final thoughts for tonight. I saw this video on a Twitter. I believe it was Cop Cuffs posted it. Ladies, be careful when zipping up your zipper, because if you get your lips zipped up, that's called a beaver that's called a beaver trap.
Oh, ow. That sounds so horrible. That's all. By the way, you're going to want to be here for Thursday. We have quite the lineup of shit.
Yes, it's going to be good.
It's going to be glorious.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So, gentlemen, take it easy. Take a shot for us. And, well, see you on Thursday.
Bolshevik.